Yeah, I think that's you've hit the nail on the head there for me. And there is a lot of whining and groaning going on, and a lot of defense from the European media, especially about how much we've moaned about it. And to be very fair, I think that we were outplayed all across the board, unfortunately. And it's just turned out that we just weren't good enough. And to be very honest, there's a lot of excuses about lethargy and management of schedules and reffing and all sorts of nonsense, which we'll get into in a little bit. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's not a complete blowout. I think that going into it, realistically, we were all expecting the other European sides to be better than their respective South African matchups. And I think it's turned out exactly how it should have, to be very honest. And if we had got any of those results, it probably should have been seen as an upset.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I think the big thing obviously being that every single home team basically won last weekend, sort of highlighting the home ground advantage. But the Lions were, as usual, holding the South African, flag high and boldly trying to go where other teams didn't go. Rian, we'll go to you. Close but no cigar. But to be perfectly honest, I look back at that and think that's actually one that got away, apart from as opposed to us not being good enough. You look at the stats, you look at the way we played in the game, and the Lions definitely could have won that game.
Yeah, it was great to see them put up a good fight. They defended much better than their compatriots, that's for sure. Especially Glasgow, the way they've been playing, they wouldn't be out of place in the big boy competition in the Champions Cup as well. So I was proud of the way they came along, but as well, same as all the other stuff, it's an away game. It looks like home advantage in this competition is everything. And it was just maybe a bridge too far. I think just one flight too many and one game too many. And also the Glasgow Warriors had a lot of their internationals back and fresh. And I think we did pretty well. Would have liked to win, but we can be proud of where we got to. I don't think anyone expected the Lions to be in the knockouts.
Yeah, look, I think, and it's interesting that we talk about the Lions being the knockout stuff like that, and now we're going to talking about the theme of the show. We're going to talk about it a bit when we start looking this weekend, is obviously going to the playoffs, and they're in there with a little bit of a shout, but Chris, from you, what positives can we take away? We talked about the experience of playing in these situations, playing in these sort of playoff games, stuff like that, and maybe something that a lot of these teams haven't done enough recently. But how much can we look at this entire sort of tournament of the last couple of months, and how much value do you think that's brought to our unions and to South African rugby in general?
Yeah, I think I might be a little bit more negative here. I think it's too much to ask to play URC and this competition. I know we're not going to say it's an excuse, but it's too much. You could see our teams ran out of steam, and I think one thing I noticed quite hectically was Dobbo before the Exeter game. He basically said they hadn't trained, they had no preparation, and I'm thinking to myself, big quarterfinal game, you had no preparation as a rugby player. You can't come in rearing to go. So I think for us, Stormers, it was also just very bizarre, everything about that game and how they looked. Sharks came out firing, which Stormers didn't, but they also ran out their legs. And of course, the Lions, I think they're better away side than home side. They seem to give up a good fight, and Glasgow are a very decent team at home. I enjoy it. I love the Heineken Cup. I think the semi-finals are the right teams there. But I don't know if it works, us having to play these two competitions going back and forth 7-8 times a season. I think to me it's ridiculous. I want us to be there, but I don't know. I don't have the answer, Steve, how we sort that out.
Yeah, I think a big thing is a lot more money, so that you talk about, I said, Dobbo not having the training sessions, and that was largely due to all of the travel issues that the Stormers had. And you said that it's an interesting one to try and get right, because it is a long haul flight, but at the end of the day, we've got to try and move to a situation where it doesn't have to be a long haul flight. If you know who your opposition is, let's say, you play on a Friday night, by Saturday it's confirmed, we need to be in a position where these teams are ready to fly out on a Sunday or Monday night and be there first thing Tuesday morning. So that you've got a full Tuesday to recover, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday. You can have a training session Wednesday, Thursday off, and a captain's run on Friday. So I think that the logistics obviously do seem to be the biggest obstacle. And it's a frustrating reason. And you don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, I agree. I think at this
Yeah.
stage, it's just not working with the
I-
24-hour journeys via Qatar, various different places. It's getting far too. It's far too onerous to be spending 2-3 days traveling, and you know, as I said, I think Stormers only left on Wednesday or Tuesday night. I think it was.
Late Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they got there that one day that obviously they didn't even have that rundown session, not even a training session. And I think you guys, I'm sure you guys all played sport, right? I mean, when you're preparing for that big derby game on the weekend against your rivals, that whole week is big. And if you're like worried about flights and airports and cramped up in economy and how can you be ready for a big quarter final like that? I don't want to make an excuse, but Stormers didn't want to play that game. I don't know. Something was worse than the travel in that squad on Saturday. I don't know if it was missing Dion for real or what, but the body language was just so bad. Very strange.
Yeah, it was a very uncharacteristic Stormers performance because they're not a side that usually lie down and give up, and they were never at the races throughout the entire game, which is sad because I think that if they were at the race, I think they could have given Exeter a good go. Look, I do think Exeter played particularly well. I thought that I've watched a couple of times, and it wasn't the same sort of Exeter side that I've seen. So sometimes you do just come right at the right moments and make a bit of a late charge. But
watch Exeter beat what's the name and make it to the final.
Yeah,
the way they've been going.
Dare to dream. Stuart Hobbs retiring. This is his last campaign. Imagine he goes and wins the Champions Cup.
But the ironic thing is Exeter was supposed to be the tired team right after that mammoth game against Montpellier, and it was us that looked like we played 3 games 2 hours before.
Yeah, just to lump on that, I just think that I know it's a home game for them, but at the end of the day, it's not always going to be that situation, and everyone's going to have to travel at some point. And we wanted to be there, so the excuses can't come from us. We cannot sit back and say, well, it was the first campaign and you got it wrong or whatever, because that's not what the Stormers are doing. They're simply saying, well, all these things went against us, and it's like, well, take a bit of accountability,
I think Dobbo said he won't play in travel. He said
Dobbo was very clear. He basically came out and said, no, we didn't pitch up.
Our tactics were wrong. I let the team down. He didn't say
but what I mean is that it should be more forthcoming than that and go, well, actually, Dobbo, you didn't just get it wasn't just a case of a couple of flights went wrong and we were late. You guys stuffed up. You actually stuffed up the travel from a logistical point of view. You messed up. And so while you're not blaming the travel, you can say that it was a factor and a personal stuff up on your side.
But I think, guys, we haven't traveled well the whole season. Let's be fair. We said this before. This was we were trying to call the games. I said we haven't traveled, so now another one. This was worried me that this was going to happen. Not as bad as it did. That was a bit sad to see, but it was really worrying me.
Yeah, and I think the whole traveling part's very interesting. And also, it's also interesting enough is that it wasn't just a case of the South African side struggling away from home. All the sides that played away, all the sides played at home, had that home ground advantage.
Harlequins got smashed over here. I mean, to lose in South Africa, would it have gone that same way?
Yeah, I mean, I think Storm is the Exeter Chiefs at the Cape Town Stadium. I think it'll be a very different result. So what'll be interesting then for me is from the competition perspective is how many years will we ever be able to get it right where we will be able to play our semi-finals here, and will there, because obviously the finals and stuff are often predetermined. They decide where the venue is before at the beginning of the season. Will we see a Heineken Cup final in South Africa? And how long is it going to take for us to start being able to sit at the table and not just be the guest at the table and actually sit there and say, right, no, actually we're in here. We're bringing you in this competition. We're part of this competition. We want to have home finals. We want to make sure that if our teams are doing well and are getting good seeds, that we can get home semi-finals, because that's, regardless of just the travelling, that is, at the end of the day, our home final is always going to be a best chance. Look at the Lions 3 Super Rugby finals in a row. Everyone always looks at the home one saying that's the one they should have won, and it was the one they should have won. But
you got to bring that up. More therapy sessions now, thanks.
Well, I mean, sorry,
good. Just from that point of view, I just think that we are not far away from getting that. I think that we as the unions came in and said, well, we're happy to play this game for you just as long as you let us in, and at the end of the day, we've come in and we've shown in terms of viewership and the thing that really matters for these guys is the money aspect. And so I think after the successful first season in terms of attendances and so on, and maybe another 2 seasons, 1 or 2, and I'm sure that the unions will be sitting down and saying, well, listen, guys, you can see what we're bringing to the table in terms of the stuff that you actually want. It's time we get a seat at the table. I don't think we're going to be sitting here in 5 years talking about still wanting playoff games in South Africa. That's just my view.
Yeah, but you remember the New Zealand sides? I mean, they used to come over, scale a semi-final, and bugger off home across the wrong side of the world often. You know, they could do it. So I'm not sure
Stormers
why
and
we
Chiefs.
battle.
It's always those two teams. Doesn't matter which competition you're in. The Chiefs knock the Stormers out in the quarters.
Yeah,
we're just notoriously bad travellers.
Oh, well, let's not forget that Cape Town is basically New Zealand home territory anyway. So
you make a very good point. That's interesting. It's an interesting concept, the fact that we don't travel particularly well. What would be interesting for me is if we start seeing rugby become far more global in terms of people not just leaving South African shores but actually coming back after a few years. And I'm hoping we kind of get into that way. I've got no issue with players going overseas. What we'd like to see is almost a bit like what you see in football, where once a player goes overseas, it's not like, oh, well, he's overseas. It's you could do a 2-year stint in the Premiership or a 2-year stint in the top 14. You can come back to a couple of years, go to Japan, and hopefully start seeing a far more sort of globalization where players are jet setters and going sort of everywhere all the time. It'll be interesting if that does start to happen, if that will help us travel a bit better, where you've got players who are not going to France for the first time and players who have played in these various leagues against some of these teams in these sort of conditions, and how that'll make, hopefully that's kind of what everybody was sort of saying was the silver lining of us going to Europe, is that people were hoping that we then become a better team in Europe, but we're still struggling to travel there.
It's the first time, eh? Let's maybe 2-3 years. Maybe we adjust. We get used to it. I think we can do it. Look at the USC. We started really badly, ended up to making the final. So I think this is a betting period. This was awakening. This was like, okay, we want to be serious contenders in this
logistics guys don't know who to talk to at the airport in France.
People are sitting saying, you need this visa. Like, what visa? Who's got a visa? What's going on here?
25 years to sort out all those little things in Super Rugby.
They're looking at the size of Heathrow and they're just panicking. Like, I don't know what terminal to be in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. As far east as travel to one of the 4 airports in New Zealand. Right, so the 3 teams are out, and a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. But now I think we turn to the real big thing, because at the end of the day, someone made a good point, and they said us being in the Champions Cup is far more about us being in the Champions Cup than actually doing well in the Champions Cup from a financial point of view. Being in the competition gives you that financial boost, rather than actually getting to semis or finals and stuff like that. So now we're back in the URC, and we've got 3 teams currently in the top 8. Now, it's obviously not as simple as just saying if you get top 8, then you guarantee qualification to Champions Cup, because there's places available to the winner of the URC. If you win the champion, I don't think there's no teams that are still in the Champions Cup that are in the URC outside the top 8. But and obviously I think there's a guarantee that it has to be a Welsh side in there as well. So it's not quite as simple as that. But we do have 3 South African teams in the top 8 currently. The Lions, I think, were given by the URC an 18% chance of
not zero.
Well, that's literally why I went to the article, because I was like, what do they reckon? Yeah, because I was like,
I saw the same article.
But now it's and there's no excuses either. There's 2 weeks of 2 home games for all 4 unions. Stormers are just, for me, I mean, they're basically just making sure they're going to cement that second spot, get that home semi-final, and then if they can win that, get to go over and try and beat Leinster in Ireland. But for the Bulls and the Sharks, well, the Bulls, they won last week in the Currie Cup, but before that, they haven't won a URC game since January. The Sharks, it wasn't a bad result against Toulouse, and they won the week before, but they've also had their struggles. Rian, how do you see us going back to the URC here? What sort of chance are you giving us to still have 3 teams in the Champions Cup next season?
I think the Sharks, they're playing Benetton this weekend. They should. Well, we've said that so many times.
Exactly,
They should win this easily, and then they take 35 points to 0 against Cardiff at home. So, and Benetton's on a bit of a run right now. I think they sent basically their strongest team over here. Yeah. They really want to qualify for the Champions Cup as well. I think they are one of the faster growing teams in the thing. So the Sharks should win that one. And I think they play Munster last at home as well. and Munster has been traveling very poorly. So I'm thinking the Sharks should be safe. The Bulls, they're playing Leinster and Zebra. I think Zebra is an easy beat. Leinster, we'll see what they do against the Lions. The Bulls haven't been playing that well. Their defense has been pretty poor. So I think almost the Lions have a better chance against Leinster currently than the Bulls do. So they are a bit touch and go. And then the Lions, 70% is not zero, but we need other guys to lose and that. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're doing better than last year, but not good enough yet.
Yeah, I think with the Lions, I think obviously they have to go basically go and beat Leinster with a bonus point on Saturday and beat Zebra. You get 10 points and hope that other results go their way. And it would probably be the most Lions thing ever for us to do that, to get into the top 8, and then for like Benetton to come 9th and win the Challenge Cup and knock us out.
Look, I think a lot of this depends on Cardiff, to be very honest. And they're sitting there, kind of the wild card in all of this, with games against Connacht and Ospreys left, either side of them on the table, and so they get 2 losses there, and suddenly we're looking at an equation where even if the Bulls don't quite get a result going the way, we still might have 3 teams sitting in there quite easily, very comfortably. And the Stormers could do us a favour at the top of the table as well with a couple of wins there.
Yeah, and Connacht is playing very well, so they should be able to take Cardiff easily. It's the Ospreys which Ospreys shows up against Cardiff.
And it's now the time which I hate, where you have to start bringing out calculators. You have to start looking at like so many different factors on who the hell is going to go through, which all gets a bit complicated and stuff like that. We're gonna do quick fire predictions at the end. We've got Curry Cup and URC, so we've only got 2 competitions. We'll have to find something else as well. Maybe we'll make it hard.
Listen, I've got some refereeing stuff I want to talk about. So
here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so should we go to the typical South African referee tangent? Here we go. This is where all the comments come out and share and talk about how all we do is bash referees. Right, Reza, go and bash your referees.
Yeah, referees were all cuck, and this is why the France are going to win the World Cup. Anyway, absolutely not. It's actually not what I want to say. It's to be very honest, it's twofold. There is a lot of outcry about refereeing at this point, and obviously citing Champions Cup and recent URC, and it's across the board at this point. And I totally agree with the sentiment that you cannot blame refereeing for the results in a lot of those games. But I do want to point out some decisions that were incredibly dodgy in that Sharks game. And to be very honest, Sharks didn't deserve to win that. Their second half was terrible. They threw away a lot of opportunities, and a couple of decisions wouldn't have mattered. But sorry, let me just get this winger's name correct. Oh gosh, what's his next name now? I'll find it in a minute. But basically, Juan Cruz Malia. 14.
He's the Argentine.
Correct. Yeah. He came running across the line, and Mapimpi was almost stood exactly still, and he swung across the line, and he mistimed it, and he went head first into the side of Mapimpi's head with his own head, knocked himself out, and was out cold for a little bit, and got a yellow card for it. A mitigating factor was that Mapimpi apparently changed direction. When he changed direction, it was a bit of a stutter step. It wasn't exactly like a huge Ches and Colby sidestep, and that was apparently enough to say, no, definitely not a straight red for head-on-head contact, no wrap of the arms, nothing. This guy just went flat out, crashed into it. And I was sitting there going, and I even messaged, Rion responded to me on the day, and was like, guys, what do you think about this yellow card? I'm like, well, frankly, if that was a South African team, I can almost guarantee that's a straight red. And
here it comes. The world hates the Africans. Oh no, get the rest video out.
I don't think we'll see reds.
I don't care.
We'll see reds in the knockouts.
I actually just don't. Well, if you say so, but if I come across and I flip and headbutt an oak, and he had a stutter step in a game where it's all about changing direction, and that's apparently enough to get you down from a red to a yellow, and then come on and score a hat-trick. That's kind of annoying. That's just my view on it. And I think that the quality of refereeing, it didn't even warrant a second look. It wasn't even much of a discussion between the TMO and the ref on the field. I just think that refereeing in general, not because of the South African team, but refereeing in general at this point is looking quite dire. And especially in a World Cup year, it needs some investigation.
the thing with the refereeing conversation is it's such a two-fold conversation, because how much blame do you put on the refs, how much blame do you put on the change in laws and stuff like that, and the biggest thing is, I suppose, the inconsistencies, and that's what always the issue is that you see a decision and you sit there going, okay, cool, so that's the yellow card, and then you watch the next game, the same thing happens, and you're going, oh, well, why is that a red card? Why is that a yellow card? So there's no doubt there's a lot of discrepancies in it, and to be honest, I think that the fact that the refereeing is such a big topical issue, and the fact that it's such a microscope, which is why I think it's such a master stroke that Nigel Owens is going to join the Bok coaching squad. I think that is one of the most...
I thought that was off the table.
He said no.
Oh, he said no. What have I missed here? I've got it up for like 4 days.
Yeah. To turn them down now.
Now we'll find another one.
Yeah, he said he's got other work and he's starting a family. They're adopting a kid, or they're trying to. So
we'll send him a South African kid. What's the issue here? You can come and choose one from like Parkham or something that's going to be. You can pay for
I have to find another ref with good chips.
But a lot of referees are joining coaching staff, which I think is quite an interesting development.
The French have one on the payroll as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting year from a referee. I do think that World Rugby need to take a lot of accountability in terms of maybe a lot of inconsistencies with the way either the laws are being written or termed, or how the interpretation is going. But I think the biggest issue is that there's just doesn't seem, whether it's too complex or whether we're not actually bothering ourselves to get to go spend the time getting into nitty gritty. At the end of the day, your average fan does not understand why there's what is a yellow card and what is a red card these days, and that makes for unpleasant viewing.
Did you see that the call against the Reds lock Angus Blythe?
That was the most ridiculous. You got a 3-week ban.
But besides all that, the process to get him to red. Did you see that? Where the ref was like, okay, that looks pretty bad, yellow card. He goes and sits down, and then a TMO, not the main TMO, they have a separate TMO, has 8 minutes to check the footage while the game's going, and then he can upgrade it to a red. And that's what happened. They told him, he's got 8 minutes in the upstairs to review the footage, and then he can tell the guy, okay, he radios the ref, tells the ref, okay, no, this is bad, make it a red card, and then the ref tells the guy, okay, you can't come back on the field, your yellow is now red. And
is that a Super Rugby?
That's a Super Rugby method.
But they're looking at bringing that into the World Cup potentially. Apparently they're having
they want to bring it in the World Cup so that the ref doesn't have that time pressure of looking at a big screen on the field, the crowd's paying for blood, all that
being
kind of
booed
stuff.
by the French crowd and all the stuff like that.
So a TMO in a box upstairs looks at it while the game carries on, and then they say, okay, it's a yellow still or it's a red now.
So it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes for Bismarck du Plessis to tear 3 other guys' heads off.
No. So he's already off.
The guy's yellow card
and he's off. So while he's sitting on the bench, and I'm pretty sure. I think also if he reviews it and like within like 4 minutes can go and say, it's not a yellow card. I think they can actually and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they sort of if they do implement that sort of thing. I quite like, and I've always said we've got technology, let's use it. And then it's kind of been an overuse of it, where they're now going back 45 phases to go and see if there might have been a potential forward pass, a type thing, and it becomes a very tiresome thing. But so I think the referee conversation, everyone, I think is going to come up a lot this year. I'm very excited.
It's never going to go away.
No,
we're all talking circles every week. You just got to accept it's part of the game. Human error is part of the game.
I agree with you. But that, to me, that's the other part of this game. Is like people say, "Oh, let's not talk about the referees." I'm like, how can you not though? They are a part of the game. There's nothing wrong with having a discussion about it. It just depends how biased you actually are.
Well, I still maintain, I'm going to put my neck out, that a big game in the World Cup is going to have a very controversial referee decision decided. I'm betting that it's going to be France, but I'm telling you now, a big game is going to be decided on a controversial decision, and that's going to be sad. But
But I suppose that also comes back to sort of the whole home ground advantage that you're always, that's why home ground advantage is so important, and not just obviously the World Cup would be in France, but for things like having that home semi-final where you're in that high pressure situation. World Cup feeds into each other, doesn't it?
But Steve, also in this France game, Sharks game, did you guys see when Pimpy scored and then the replay got shown over and over until the ref blew the forward pass? Exact same thing happened to Toulouse. Not a single replay in sight. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Just
say.
No, but
Just
that's why
say.
there's lots of
Just
calls
say.
that
It happens here as well.
But that's not human error. That's
No,
That
Victor-
is, yeah.
that's
Home
And
ground.
Victor Matfield stuck up a little bit because he came out and said, if this was super sport, we do the same thing. We'd also show.
Yeah,
that they-
exactly.
I don't think the
Well,
Super
there we
Sport
go.
would
Well,
do- but that's
I was at Ellis Park. When was it? 2014. Kano hit, who was it? Lambie or something in the head, or Skulk going down in a tackle. I was in Ellis Park. That big screen, both sides, was on repeat showing that head contact till the ref stopped the game and said, "Okay,
yeah. Well,
we
that's
won."
then it's fair enough. Yeah.
I'm more shocked that those big screens are working, to be honest.
They are working. I'll be at Ellis Park this Saturday. You guys. Will see
there
my
we
team.
go. Rian can see the park and see how it's going. That's an interesting conversation because there's now been calls to have neutral television crews as well to not have. So if it's a Rugby World Cup in South Africa, Supersport will not be the broadcaster.
That makes sense.
Or even just a neutral TV director, for example. So the Supersport cameraman can all be there, but
There's no way. There's no way.
We need captains just need to do a code and shout it to the refs, Mike. You bloody super sport.
literally.
You bloody bastards. Bloody hell.
Still on
Go full Virat Kohli on the mic stump, the stump mic.
Remember that super sport. You cheated.
It's still the best meme ever. That's going into the mind. But let's move on to this weekend, shall we? Because there's a lot of rugby. I'm going to do some quick fire predictions, and Rian wasn't here last weekend, so we're going to have to put him on the spot for them.
I got all of them right, in case you guys were wondering.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
yeah,
go
cool.
2 for 2. But before then, we're going to go to our betting segment. I'm going to bring Chris in here. Chris is going to give us some more winning bets this weekend. That is what happened last week, as well as the season record and tonight's bets. Chris, over to you. Take us through this.
Yeah, guys. So we had last week, if you remember, we had 2 bets. We had the multi with 4 legs. We had the Bulls to win, which they did in the Currie Cup quite comfortably. Blues to win, which they did very comfortably. Leinster raced to 20, which Leicester were giving them a game, but I always thought 20 points was enough into the game that they were putting away by then. And Clermont plus 5.5 got close. Clermont's been doing French things. They should have actually really won that game. They're down to 14 early in the first half as well. But anyway, the point spread covered, so we won that bet and was quite bullish on the Bulls on the single to win against Griquas, and it turned out to be too much class against that Griquas side. So yeah, we got up another couple of units. So we up the record 5-2, 5 wins, 2 losses to 6-unit wins. So it's quite a nice return on investments that we currently ticking over with. So yeah, I've come up with some bets again for the weekend. So this is obviously all through bets ZA and what markets I currently have available to look at up until showtime. So at the moment, I'm going to still keep the units quite low. I think I still want to just keep building this up, and then we can maybe take some bigger risks on higher odd multis in a few weeks' time. But the first one, which I really like, what you want to call it, or banker, if you want to call it, or the surer thing, is 1.5 units on overs in the Pacifica versus Reds games. They're playing in Pacifica, so it's going to be in Samoa, so it's going to be quite a game, quite an atmosphere. And both teams, I don't think they have defense coaches or even practice tackling. So I'm pretty sure that 52 should be covered. The only thing that could go against us is the conditions, because they haven't played there and it might be muggy. I haven't seen what conditions would be like there, but I'm still pretty confident on previous form lines that over 52 covers. Brumbies are at home to Fiji and Jura as well. Brumbies at home are just very, very solid. Jura away are not very good at all, and they're leaving some of their players behind. So the cap is 20. So we're saying, that Brumbies minus 10 means Brumbies will win by more than 10.5. So you'll look for the alternate cap line, as we discussed a few weeks ago. That's a lower price. So we're saying, Brumbies to win by more than 10. And then Gloucester play Bath at home tomorrow night. Just the way the season going, home team as well. Gloucester at home, they've got more to play for in the log position. Bath had a very, very good win against Exeter a few weeks ago, but they've had the break in between. Say Gloucester had a very good win against La Rochelle. So I just think they are the better side, and a home win here should come in. I think Bath will be better than we expect, but I'm very confident that Gloucester wins. So that's a treble. That's a treble at 2.39, which you can currently get at that price on bet.coza. But assuming we have won a few units, I am going to stick my neck out on a bit of a bigger one, not on a big unit stake at this stage, but I've decided to go with this one because I'm quite confident on these points coming in. Brumbies over 40 team points is one leg. So we need Brumbies to get more than 40. I'm thinking that Brumbies could probably cover 50, get close to 50, maybe cover 50. Again, we've just spoken about the Reds and Pacifica over 58. We were talked about the line cap, which is the middle, the 50-50 handicap that bookies give it. It's at 62. So we're still under the line cap at 58. I still think this game goes to 65 more points. Hope if things should go well. And then I just be honest, I think if Bulls, Zebra, bottom of the log, Bulls are still playing for their spots. I think Bulls win by 50 here, to be honest. And yeah, we say Bulls minus 23.5, so they're to beat Zebra by more than 23.5. That's the line cap, actually. So the bookies are actually saying that Bulls will win by 24. I'm saying that Bulls are going to win by 40. And that comes to 5.46 at 3/4 of a unit. So it's a little bit less. It's obviously half of the unit stake that we do in the first bet. But obviously, if it wins, we get 0.75 times those units. So it'll be a very nice profit if that comes in. I'm very confident in the first one to arrive, which still means we'll make a small amount of profit. But if we get that second multi, we'll be really well in A4 way onto a nice profit record. So yeah, best of luck if you tail in. Yeah, pretty high confident that these should arrive. Maybe one will get close, but I'm confident that they're all going to be very close or definitely winners.
I reckon I might go put my house on my car on the second one, and we'll phone you guys from Mauritius next week.
Yeah, but we say, like I said, as I said, guys, unfortunately at this time of the day, there's other games that I would be probably looking at, which I'll probably put in these, which I'll be more confident to bet more. But because we're limited to the Friday games and some Saturday games, I don't want to risk too much at this stage until we got a nice kitty. So perhaps we could take more risks. So like we say, we'll make an arrangement that I could get bets out to you guys on Fridays or Saturdays as well.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you do put some bets out on Twitter at the Crow Tips there, so
that's right. Yeah, there's my handle. So yes, I do post a couple of multis and triples every week, or even a line cap, whatever I feel strongly about. So yes, if you want more, I'm pretty active over the weekend, giving out more trebles and doubles and some other tips. Yeah, so sure, they'll be good.
Oh, there we go. So that's our betting tips for the week. As always, the big thank you to Chris, as well as to Bet Koza for being our betting partners and powering the betting segment, stuff like that. If you have any questions, stuff for Chris, as always, put them in the comments, stuff like that. And we can revisit them as well.
And also, I just say, if anyone wants to ask me any questions on Twitter, direct message me if you want. If the lines do move, if you see this in the morning, you'll probably go there. You might not get the same price and numbers. If you are willing to make a bet, give me a shout. I'm happy to help out, recreate that bet for you, give you advice. So not an issue.
What a legend.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. And, well,
no worries.
He says what a legend now. We'll revisit in a week's time after we see if they hit or not.
Well, we'll still be up, so that's why I'm feeling a little bit more, spicy this week. Yeah, I also like to live dangerous. Yeah, living on the edge. But yeah, you've got a little bit. So yeah, if these come home, it will be ace, and we'll be well away. So it'll be good.
All right, cool. I love it. Right, cool. Thank you so much, Chris. And then we've got 5 minutes left. So what I want to try and do is I want to put some people in the spot here, and I want to do some quick fire predictions. You did it last week, and it was fun. Now the problem is we've only got 2 competitions really to look at, unless Chris, you back yourself to the Premiership.
Yeah, I can do Premiership
or Super Rugby.
Let's do it,
because I don't watch enough of either to do either. So.
Well, I would say, they're both my favorite comps. They're the ones I follow the most closely and has my money.
Okay, so which one do you want? Do you want Premiership Quickfire or do you want Super Rugby Quickfire?
Super Rugby.
Super Rugby. Okay. Rian, we're going to give you URC.
All right.
And then Reed's going to give you Curry Cup.
Oh, really?
Have it.
Come on, you gotta make things interesting. Okay, well,
I wasn't. Someone else better go before me. What does quickfire mean? Explain.
Basically, I don't want you to explain. I don't want you to justify. I just want you to tell me who's winning by how much and That's
And then we judge you afterwards.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Although Chris, I see there's only about 40 rugby games this weekend.
Yeah, so give me English Premier if you want as well. I'm not
Okay,
shy.
I'll tell
I'm
you
not
what, we'll
afraid.
start with you.
Let's
We'll
do
do
it.
Super 40 rugby, then we're going
Top
to do our
14.
thing, and then we'll go back to the Premier League. And then we're gonna
Pro
and
D2.
then we're gonna give then we're gonna give Reza top 14, and then Rian, I'm gonna give you Pro D2, and we'll finish with Chris doing some Japanese top league, and then maybe we'll do some Major League rugby.
Yeah.
Whichever team Villarreal plays for wins.
There we go.
Yeah.
At fly
Yeah.
half, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, are you ready for your 40 rugby game?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so
Let's
tomorrow,
go.
6 o'clock in the morning for us. Moana Pacifica versus Reds.
Reds by 7.
Reds by 7. Okay, then Brumbies versus the Drua.
Brumbies by 45 to 50.
Sorry.
Brumbies by 45 to 50 points.
Okay.
Sorry,
got a
sorry.
bit
Yeah,
covered.
yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
Okay, Hurricanes versus Chiefs.
Chiefs by
that's okay.
3.
Chiefs by 3. Nice close game. Then Waratahs Force.
Waratahs by 7 to 10. 7 to 10 points.
Okay. I love that Brumbies Drua chat. That's the kind of stuff I'm in for. That's the kind of confidence I like to see.
They're going to know the draw. You'll see it.
Might actually have to watch the game now, knowing that's apparently it's gonna be a good game.
It's just the Brumbies the Drua are just going to battle to live with the Brumbies. That's the problem. They just don't have the structure and the physicality, especially away. Brumbies at home. These guys, I think Reds, some of the other guys have put 50 past them already. So Brumbies are the best Aussie team. Why should they not do it again? Be good conditions as well. So changes for Drua, 40 plus.
There we go. You see, you need a suitable punch team when you've got Chris telling us why the Brumbies. I think you'll love to see. Okay, you've had a taste now, Rian. Are you ready for your URC games?
Let's do this. Yeah.
Okay, Sharks versus Benson.
Sharks by a score, 7 points.
7 points. Okay, Glasgow Scarlets.
Good game. Glasgow by about 15 points, I'd say.
Okay, Ulster Dragons.
Ulster smashed the Dragons by 25 points. Dwayne is playing.
There we go. Okay, Bulls Zebra.
Bulls by 5.
Oh,
Bad form.
I love it. I'm not mad at that either. I'm not mad at that either. I can go fetch some Bulls fans with that. Lions Leinster.
Lions going to show everyone how to beat Leinster. No one's been able to do it.
Come on! Okay, love
This is my heart talking. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The head's overrated. Okay, then Stormers Munster.
Stormers Blacklash, so going to be about 12 points to Stormers.
12 points. Okay, then Edinburgh Ospreys.
Ospreys by about 5.
By 5, and then Connacht Cardiff.
Connacht by 15 against Cardiff in a wet and windy Galway, the dog track.
Yeah, no, I like the Lions shot. I think the Bulls chat's a very interesting chat. I actually really like.
Bulls will be far ahead, and then Zebra will come back. You'll see it.
No, I don't think it's a bad shot, to be honest. I think this Bulls team actually. I genuinely think that with things happening in Victoria, I think this Bulls team actually have it in them to lose that game. With how
No.
I think it could. It probably won't happen, but I genuinely wouldn't be that shocked if it did happen. Yeah.
The defense. Oof.
No, well, what defense? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me it's Zebra. I have no time for Zebra. So if the Bulls if they can't, then fine.
But the Italians are up and coming, Chris.
Hey, look at Benetton.
Watch them. We're just thinking a win.
To be fair, when you say the Italians are up and coming, it's got nothing to do with Zebra. It's got everything to do with what's happening over in Treviso.
Yeah.
Zebra continue about this much Italian rugby right now. It's just Benetton. And then our Curry Cup expert.
Yeah, thanks.
It's not
Old lady of our rugby.
Right, so tomorrow is Sharks Bulls, Hopper 3.
Interesting game. I think it obviously the Bulls are depleted this week, so I'm going to go Sharks by 12.
Sharks by 12. Province Cheetahs.
Another interesting one. I think I'm going to go Cheetahs by 15.
Cheetahs by 15. Interesting one, because as I said, it is the Cheetahs full strength side, but fine, back you. Griffins versus Pumas.
Pumas by 30 to 35.
Okay. And then Lions Griquas on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm backing an upset here, to be honest, but I'm going to go Lions by 10.
Is that the upset or is this?
The
That should
upset
be
is
the
the upset, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that.
Okay, I'm just checking what you classify as an upset right now.
Yeah.
Be very clear about this.
But yeah, I hope that all comes to fruition. I've gone very safe this week, I think, but
Boring, if you ask
maybe
me.
Chris tells me different. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put Chris's head back on the block with some Premiership rugby this weekend. Right, we've got also only am I correct in only seeing 3 games this weekend? Eh? No, wait, 5 games. There we go. There's that. Right, Chris, you ready? Okay, so Gloucester versus Bath.
Gloucester by 9.
Gloucester 9. Bristol versus Sale.
Sale by 3.
Okay, Northampton versus
At-
Saracens.
Northampton by 2.
Well, close weekend.
I know, it's a
Apparently.
dodgy
Harlequins
one.
versus
That's a dodgy-
Newcastle.
This one won't be so close. Harlequins will win going away 12 plus.
12 plus. Leicester versus Exeter. Last game of the weekend.
Leicester by 7.
7. Okay, so it's quite. Yeah, with apart from the Harlequins,
How many heads will Vista bang up?
Yeah. I heard some rumor about England possibly doing a wild card for the World Cup and calling up Ruan Ackerman. I don't know how.
Really?
Don't know how true that
His
is. I
knee
think
was exploded last weekend, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make it by then.
yeah.
I don't know why
Wow.
they haven't called him yet.
Yeah,
But
I
he's
wonder
knee
if
gone.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is back news from before the injury and maybe he's missed
I
his
think
shot.
there was talks about it before his injury, but now his knees in the brace. I don't know.
I'd like to see him, to be
But-
honest. I really rate him. So, and he seems to
I
not-
followed Gloucester.
Yeah.
They my team in the Premiership, and he's been a very good guy for years now.
Yeah. But also from a betting point, I mean, I love the competition's improved leaps and bounds, even though they're saying it's probably not as strong as they're thinking it is.
Excuse me.
But in terms of from betting angles, like Super Rugby and Prem are very good because you pretty much get the same sides playing each week. So form lines are much easier to read for me. So that's why I love English Prem and Super Rugby because my betting strategy. Some people love the numbers and it's raining and this much grass is on that side of the field, and I love the matchup. So if I see the matchup right in front of me, I call the games much better. So that's why I enjoy this game. And generally, the trends are quite solid on whether it's going to be high scoring, low scoring, and stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to pick your guys' brains about one last thing before we go, Steve, if that's okay. Our fellow pundits over at The Breakdown, I don't know how much you guys watch of them, but one of their most viral clips at the moment is the fact that Andre Pollard overrated comparisons to Sexton and Wilkinson. And I've just...
Got you boiling.
Yeah, I'm steaming a little bit, to be very honest.
You can see the steam coming out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if this is for views or
No,
what.
we know
but
it is.
Yeah,
Of course it is. Yeah.
There's a very big Sexton versus Wilkinson conversation at the moment, which I'm quite
Yeah, I saw
enjoying.
that.
I think Pollard's underachieved in his career. I'll be honest. I think he's
He never won anything at the Bulls, anything big.
Yeah. He's had his moments. He had his knee injuries like they all do. He's playing brilliantly. I mean, if he could just hold on to this form now, in terms of form fly-ups, arguably he could be better. But yeah, as you want to, like over their careers, I think you can't argue with Sexton at the moment. He was the other one they said.
Pollard's going to
Sexton.
Well, I'm seeing some people going Sexton, some people going Wilkinson. I'm always been a big Sexton fan.
Oh no, Wilkinson. Wilkinson was a different type of. Wilkinson was a different.
I'm in two boats here because I see the Wilkinson Sexton argument and something that you mentioned, Chris, is something that goes across all sports. There's always this conversation about how much has a player achieved in terms of titles, achievements, all that kind of stuff. To point out that a guy like Tom Cleverley, which is probably a name you're not familiar with unless you watch
Bring in
United
the
football,
the football. Yeah.
I
is
do know that. Yeah.
is
Now I
Bringing it
don't know
in.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Rio's like,
What?
what's a
Exactly.
Cleverley?
Exactly, but the man has more league titles than Harry Kane, and you go, well, I mean, that's just kind of like, well, do we base it on that? Do you, the fact that you could
Look,
be
to be
part of
fair,
a squad
with
wins consistently, or you could be a star player in a team that doesn't perform consistently over and over again, which is what I think Andre Pollard has been. And admittedly, he's gone through dips which are mostly injury enforced, but when he's playing, I mean, there's no one in the world that really stops him, to be in my opinion.
I don't know. I
I'll
don't.
back
I don't
Sexton.
think he's that good.
I'll back Sexton.
I think
Oh.
Sexton.
I don't-
I think I think
yeah.
Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett are clear of all three of them, but you know,
What?
that's just my
Yeah.
opinion. But
Yes,
If you combine
waits
Mwanga
until
and
the
Mwanga.
end and then drops the bombshells here, dude. Now I want to box here. You know, sit here, disrespect my boy Johnny Sexton like that. Then you're just gonna throw in Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett after the last 2 years of terrible All Black performances we've seen, and you want me to just sign off after that?
But I think they've all had injuries as well. I just feels like even the period of time that Pollard, he seems to be around for ages. I don't think he's in that old yet, but I think
28.
he's had his dips. Okay, he's won a World Cup, but like Wilkinson and Sexton just seem to have had this constant high level thing going. But maybe it's not perceived. If I had really rated Pollard, I would have really felt it already. I've been like, no way, he's like up there. But I don't have that conviction to say he's at that level. I don't know why. I wish I did. He's had the
Who's been
ability.
South Africa's best, most legendary tens? We don't make
Andre
Henry Honeywell.
Pretorius.
We make 9.
Come on, Andre. Butch James.
See, not even any
Butch
of
James.
you could
Come
even,
on, lad. Back
none of
Butch
you could
James.
agree. Earl Rose. I mean, that guy is
No.
underrated.
I mean,
No,
it's still your
South
golf
Africa
clubs,
doesn't
but
make legendary 10s. We make legendary 9s because we play off 9.
Yeah.
Box kicks. So we just need a guy who can shuffle the ball on and maybe break their 10 in a head-eye tackle. Butch
I
James
also
Pollard.
think you're not comparing apples with apples. I think, like Chris said, if you're going on form alone, I think that Pollard is definitely up there. If we're talking about overall achievements in the career, I think Pollard's a long way off from finishing his career, and so that judgment is unfair at this point.
If he wins another
Agree.
World Cup, but he needs, then definitely. But yeah,
But
right now,
it's an interesting World Cup coming up because if Sexton does come back and Ireland do win the World Cup, I don't think you can argue too much against. I mean, first of all, he's a World Player of the Year already, Irish Grand Slam at 37. If he wins the World Cup at 37, well, he'll actually be 38 by the time he goes to the World Cup, and he was nominated for World Player of the Year last year at 37. So I'm a big advocate of Sexton. I know a lot of people. He's very
most
annoying
points
as
in
a
the
captain.
Six Nations,
Yeah, and
most
just,
points for Ireland.
and just what he does, just what he does to that Irish team. I mean, I like Byrne. I think he's a nice player. When Sexton plays for Ireland, it's a whole different prospect.
I think a lot rides on this World Cup. I think you're absolutely correct there. If Ireland crash out in the group stages, we will not be talking about them in the same, and we go on to win, and vice versa. We're definitely not going to be sitting here having this conversation. One of them is going to be very obviously on top.
Look, at the end of the day, if we don't win the World Cup, we're going to be talking about Finn Russell as the best flyer of all time when he guides Scotland to it. So,
There's my boy, yeah,
you know.
that man.
but right, chaps, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we definitely pencil a couple of best 10s, best 9s, some controversial picks there as well. Best captains, for example. There's lots of stuff we must get into, and we'll do that in the coming shows. Because we're actually about to come to a bit of a rugby halt in the next couple of weeks because after this we're going to the URC playoffs and there'll be fewer and fewer games up until the first international game, which is the 5th of July, which feels like a very long time away. So yeah, enjoy the rugby while it lasts because it's going to get fewer and fewer in the next couple of weeks. We have to really get into even varsity cups coming to an end. So yeah, but chat, as always, thank you very much for joining me. Anybody in the comments, thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to too many of them. Yeah, we will see you guys next week. This will obviously also be available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and the works. So if you'd like to listen to this back in the car, then you can, and stuff like that. But until then, we'll be live over the weekend. We're going to be doing all 4 URC games. Might even throw a couple of Curry Cup games in as well. So plenty of live watch-alongs to come. Thank you very much. Please do smash like on the video on the way out and subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys all next time. Lovely and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, Stormers versus Munster. A pretty big game with regards to how the table will look. Munster currently in 5th place on 48 points. Stormers in the 2nd place with 61 points, but Ulster right behind Stormers. And for Munster, an opportunity for them to sort of try and claw their way into that top 4, maybe try and get themselves a home semi-final. They were to get that far. At the moment, they will currently have, there will be a away quarterfinal. And an away semi-final if they get this. So, yeah, pretty big game for them. And they want to try and reel in the likes of Glasgow, Ulster. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you want to try and finish as high as possible, don't you? Because the home ground advantage is so important. So, yeah, right now they'd actually be going away to Glasgow Warriors if they want to make the quarters. So, very important for Munster, for the Stormers. If they would have a home quarterfinal, home semi-final, but they would have to travel to Leinster. But that can't change. But the worst thing they can do is sort of slip into 3rd. And then potentially have to travel for a semi-final should they get there. Before we look at the two sides and a very big name back in the Stormers side, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is how the Stormers do line up. Now, feast your eyes on the bench. Evan Ruiz is back and will make his return from injury. He hasn't played, I don't think, at all this year. In fact, has quite a long-term injury, but does return this weekend. In fact, I think he might have actually got injured in about January. But if you look at the front row, Stephen Kitsoff, Joe Sturber, Frans Maheva, the usual sort of suspects. Ruben van Heerden comes into the side. He can't play in the Champions Cup, but can play in the URC, so he will partner Marvin Uri in what is, for me, probably the best, arguably one of the best, probably the best tight 5 in the country at the moment, to be honest. Players who all could very much international quality. A lot of them are, most of them are playing international quality in the last big year. Billy Engelbrecht, Ben J. Sticks, and Achiro Daimani. There's no doubt that the Stormers are missing Deon Fourie, and there's no doubt that his presence is has affected this team. Billy Engelbrecht's a very nice player, but Deon Fourie, I think, has probably become the Stormers' most important player, and we kind of saw that last weekend. Ben Jason Dixon, I've been very impressed with. Achiro Daimani, obviously, is so dynamic and so important, but I think they are missing the dynamism and the sort of all-round skill set of Deon Fourie. Paul de Wet, partners Monty Liebach, Herschel Jankis on the bench, Sebastian Snatler, Husserl and Hartzenberg, the 2 wings. I think Hartzenberg's under a little bit of pressure, and he shouldn't maybe be as a youngster. But I think he's making quite a few mistakes at the moment, and I think that we were very excited when he first came through, and I think now split Herschel Yankees, Clayton Blommetjies, the 2 backline players, and they can do a 6-2 split with the versatility of a Damian Willemse, Monty Liebach, even a Clayton Blommetjies to a certain degree, and Dan du Plessis as well can play and both centers as well as on the wing. So yeah, if we look at the Munster side, very cool to see Archie Snyman will be starting. It's a decent Munster side. It'll be captained by Peter Omani. In the front row, Jeremy Lauman, Diamond Barron, and Stephen Archer will pack down. Jean Clay and Archie Snyman in the second row. A loose trio of Peter Omani, Alex Kendallin, and Gavin Coombs. Conor Murray does start. Craig Casey on the bench. He's with Jack Crowley. Then Shane Daly, Calvin Nash, the 2 wings. Mike Haley at fullback. And a very good centre pairing in Malachi Fekitoa and Anton Frisch. Off the bench, it's Scott Buckley, Josh Wishley, Keenan Knox, Phelan Wishley, Jack O'Donoghue, Craig Casey, Ben Healy, and Keith Earls, who are playing his last few games for Munster in the next couple of weeks before he does close the book on close the book on this chapter of his life. But it's a very good Munster side, but the Stormers have got to come out and respond. They're sort of disappointing the way that they were kind of blown away last weekend and never really at the races against Exeter. If they are to go and try and defend the URC title, they're going to have to go out and beat probably Leinster away in Dublin. So it's a big opportunity for them this weekend to get back to building some momentum, make sure that when they do go over, that they're going to be ready. Please do smash like on the video on the way out. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments below. Do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's guide on how to watch Stormers take on Munster down in Cape Town. The URC isn't reaching its final 2 rounds of group stages and then went to playoffs. And it's a bit of a scramble at the moment for a couple of teams in terms of trying to grab those last final sort of spots in the top 8, trying to make sure you're in the top 4, top 2 to get home quarterfinal and home semi-final advantage. Leinster basically have already topped the log and have sent a very weakened side down to South Africa for the Bulls and Lions fixtures they have. But this fixture, Stormers versus Munster, should be quite a lot of fun. RKS Neyman has travelled. It is at 6:30 on Saturday evening, and you can watch it on a free broadcaster because RTE2 is showing the match. And before we show you exactly how to watch the match, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So it's being shown on RTE2, which is a free air channel, which you can access if you are in Ireland. If you're outside Ireland, however, you can still access it through the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. So what you're going to do, all the links are in the descriptions, a step-by-step process is in the description, is that you're going to download ExpressVPN and you're going to install it. And as you can see over here, you're going to go on the three dots on the right-hand side there, you're going to open that up. That's going to go to Ireland, you're going to turn the server on so it's connected. Now, because we're currently connected to an Ireland server, I'm actually currently busy watching. So you can't actually see the footage because I can't screen capture it, but you can hear it's happening and you can see some subtitles and stuff like that going on in there. You just actually can't see the action itself. But that is currently playing. Now, if we were to go and turn the VPN off, for example, and we were to access it outside of Ireland, I'm just busy refreshing over here, you won't be able to watch the channel. So it is purely an Ireland free-to-air channel, and therefore you have to either be in the location, which is Ireland, or else you have to be able to use a VPN to be able to access it if you are outside of the territory itself, because it is all being geolocated. So it is as easy as that, though. All you have to do is go and download ExpressVPN and connect to an Ireland server. By the way, you can also use this method to watch Bulls versus Zebra as well as Lions versus Leinster. However, that has been shown on TG4. The links will be in the description for those watch-alongs, as well as we'll have our own videos on those ones as well. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. Otherwise, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. Right, hello everyone, welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. I will not be taking any questions about the Lions. I will not be having any conversation about the Lions. I will not be talking about that side for another week. I'm not having it. Not happy. So we're going to try and move on, and we're going to try and enjoy some rugby. And hopefully the Stormers and Munster are going to offer us a good spectacle for me to try and get into a better mood, because, yeah, I'm not impressed with life right now. And pretty rightly so, I think, because I haven't seen an implosion like that in a very long time. So, yes. But anyway, we are now shifting our focus down to Cape Town, where the Stormers are taking on Munster in about 14 minutes' time. And we've got a bit of time to sort of settle in here. And we've got a poll running and over 126 comments, which is good to see. I want to see you guys still commenting on that. I want to see you guys getting involved here as we look to prepare ourselves for what should be a pretty good game. And yeah, a bit of probably the game of the weekend, really, if you're looking at, log position and stuff like that. Munster sitting in 5th place. Stormers in 3rd place. Stormers really need to get a victory to get it back over Ulster, who overtook them last night. So a Stormers win will put them above Ulster, and they'll need to try and beat Benton next weekend to try and solidify that spot in 2nd place and guarantee themselves both a home quarter and a home semi-final if they were to get that far. So, yes. Please do smash the like on the video, by the way, and subscribe. Let's sort of settle in here and get ourselves ready for another game. It's for the 3rd game in a row, so we've been live a lot today. Also had the news of Jacques, so it's been a pretty strange day of rugby news. And now we're going to hopefully end off with a pretty good match. And yeah, that's where we're at. And we're going to go through the lines a little bit. And the big thing is, if you're looking to watch the game, check out the description, because you can watch it on a free-to-air broadcast. It is being shown on RTE2, so no excuses not to watch any of the action. Go and get yourself sorted there. And yeah, I'll play the guide in about 6 minutes time or so, where you can go and remind yourself how to watch the game so that you don't miss any of the action. Because yeah, why would you want to miss any of the action? We've got As I said, it's very easy. You can go and get yourself ExpressVPN and you can go and watch all the action live and in HD. So don't sit here and miss out on all the action when you can go and watch it. But my request is when you do go watch it, keep us on the side here. Come and join us in the chat, and let's enjoy the last URC game from a second perspective this weekend, in what is the second last weekend of the group stages. So it's the second last time we'll see the Lions this season, and they've got a lot of soul searching to do, which is to put it very mildly, to be honest. Absolute dreadful scenes earlier, and something's going to have to happen here because it's not really acceptable to be throwing away a game like that, like we just saw. It's yeah. As I said, I'm happy to give Leicester some credit. I'm happy to admit that they played well, but that was just an absolute disaster class. That is the reality. That's the reality of the matter is that the Lions imploded poorly, and they deserve not to be in the playoffs. They can play like that, and so moving on to brighter things. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, so I don't want to talk about it. The Stormers versus Munster coming up now in the next few minutes, and it's a good Munster side. Archie Snyman is starting. Just the 7th game for Munster, despite being there for almost 2 years. With all those injuries that he has had. And so hopefully we'll get a nice game out of him. But more important, I suppose, is to make sure he comes out on the other side. Almost every single time we do see him playing, we're sort of sitting there like stressing. Every single time we see him going down, you sort of wonder, is he going to get back up? Is he going to be okay? And he needs to get away from that so that he can get back to playing some of his best rugby. But let me know who you're supporting. Let me know who you're backing and who you're watching. It's look like I'm not got any sound over here. So I'll not be shooting the match. I said I can't show any match footage, but check out the description, and I will play a video now as a guide in terms of how to watch all the action, because it's very, very straightforward. You can go get yourself ExpressVPN if you're outside the UK or Ireland and watch the match live for free on RTE2. All the links that you need are in the description, so go and check it out there. Right, so we've got about 40 minutes to go, so let's go through the two teams and have a look at who's playing where and what we can kind of expect out of the match. As I said, please do smash like on the video, by the way. Almost 70 people already watching and yet only 13 likes, so let's try and get that up. What a day of rugby it's been, both on the field and off it. The announcement that Jacques Nielba will be leaving the Springboks happening during that Bulls game. Then Lions disaster class throwing away that game against Leicester in pretty spectacular fashion, it must be said. And now, Stormers versus Munster, the main event, the main course, if you would. And we look at the two teams. Let's look at the Stormers side first, shall we? Stevie Kitsoff will captain the side in the number 1 jersey. Joseph Dweber, France Maherber. It's an all Springbok front row. Ruben van Heerden back in the side after being cup-tied and couldn't play in the Champions Cup. He will line up next to Marvin Orie in the second row. Billy Engelbrecht, Ben Jason Dixon, Hachiba Daimani, the back row. No Dion Fourie, who doesn't look like he'll play any more part in this season. Paul de Vet partners Moni Liebach, Sibir Sanatla next to Cinnamon Hartzenberg as the two wings. Daniel Duplessis next to Ruan Nel in the centres. Damian Willemse at full back. If we look at the substitutes, it's JJ Kotze, Alistair Mark, and Nitling Bashir. Ernst van Rijn, Marcel Tennyson, and Evan Ruiz will complete a 6-2 split. Evan Ruiz back in action after that long-term injury. Hershey Yankees, Caden Blommetjies, the two backline players in that 6-2 split. If we look at Munster, we've got in the front row Jeremy Lauman, Diamond Barron, and Stephen Archer, John Klein, and Archie Snyman in that second row. It's a good loose trio of Peter Omani captains the side next to Alex Kendallin and Gavin Coombs. Conor Murray does start. Craig Casey on the bench. Jack Crowley at number 10. Shane Daly, Calvin Nash, Mike Haley. The back three, Malachi Fekitoa, Anton Frisch, the two centres. Off the bench, it is Scott Buckley, Josh Wycherley, Keenan Knox, Feenan Wycherley, Jack O'Donoghue, Craig Casey, Ben Healy, and Keith Earls, who is bringing a close to a very good career in the next couple of weeks. So very good to be able to see a bit more of him. That's how the two teams do line up. We've got 7 minutes to go to kick off, so let me know who you're supporting. Let me know, where you're watching from and what you thought about today's rugby. Let's not talk about the Lions game though. We don't need to go that far. But yeah, we can still sort of settle and hopefully have a good stream here and a good match to match the stream. And yeah, so again, if you guys are looking to watch the match, I'll play it again a little bit. It's a bit of a guide on how to watch all the action. It is being shown on a free-to-air broadcaster, RTE2, over in the UK and Ireland. So you can go and watch that if you've got a Space VPN, if you're outside of the UK. So make sure you go and get that sorted now so that you don't miss any moments later. Don't sit there, wait for the kickoff, and then wonder, oh, Schweppes, how do I then watch this? Go and get yourself sorted now. So you don't have to worry about that. And I watched something, I've been stressed. Of course I've been stressed. Like, if you watch that Lions implosion, I mean, it's a joke. An absolute joke. I'm not happy. So that is why I'm stressed. But anyway, we're going to try and move past it. We're going to try and watch a bit of Stormers versus Munster. What other sports is this now? A bit of golf we can watch tonight. What's happening in the Premier League over here? Bournemouth have just beaten, about to beat Spurs. That's not gone well. Newcastle lost. Chelsea lost to Brighton. What a day of football, by the way. Wolves beating Brentford. Fulham hammering Everton. Villa beating Newcastle quite substantially. Tottenham now about to lose to Bournemouth. Crisis. That's a hell of a day of footy. And then Man City versus Leicester kicking off in 20 minutes. Yeah, I think after this, I'm going to have a quiet evening and just watch a bit of sport. I need to try and do anything to get myself away from that Lions loss, because that was just pretty heartbreaking. Pretty heartbreaking to be so close to being the first team to beat Leinster. Yeah, and then to throw it away like that is pretty spectacular. But anyway, Bulls, good game from them today. They hammered Zebra by 70 points odd, or about 60 points odd. They put 70 on them. So good day in the office for them. Must be nice. Oh, and there's the power. The power's come back. I've been blessed with power for another 6 hours. No, 4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah, another 4 hours. We just had 4.5 hours out now, and we've got another 4 hours, and then we'll be off for another couple of hours. It's been fun. 13.5 hours of load shedding today. That was my day. So it's been a bit of a challenge doing all of this, but we continue to graft and to bring you all the latest coverage as much as we can. And we thank you for supporting us and being part of the journey. Right, I'm going to play the guide once again how to watch the match. So if you are looking to watch the match, this is a very easy and sure method of making sure you don't miss any of the moments in the match to come. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. But apart from that, just check out the description. It's got everything you need to know. But in case you still haven't done that, this is how to watch the match. Hello and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sport. For today's guide on how to watch Stormers take on Munster down in Cape Town. The URC isn't reaching its final 2 rounds of group stages and then went to playoffs. And it's a bit of a scramble at the moment for a couple of teams in terms of trying to grab those last final sort of spots in the top 8, trying to make sure you're within the top 4 or top 2 to get home quarterfinal and home semi-final advantage. Leinster basically have already topped the log and have sent a very weakened side down to South Africa for the Bulls and Lions fixtures they have. But this fixture, Stormers versus Munster, should be quite a lot of fun. RKS Neyman has travelled. It is at 6:30 on Saturday evening, and you can watch it on a free broadcaster because RTE2 is showing the match. And before we show you exactly how to watch the match, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So it's being shown on RTE2, which is a free air channel, which you can access if you are in Ireland. If you're outside Ireland, however, you can still access it through the use of a VPN, which is a virtual private network. So what you're going to do, all the links are in the descriptions, a step-by-step process is in the description, is that you're going to download ExpressVPN and you're going to install it. And as you can see over here, you're going to go on the 3 dots on the right-hand side there, you're going to open that up. That's going to go to Ireland, you're going to turn the server on so it's connected. Now, because we're currently connected to an Ireland server, I'm actually currently busy watching So you can't actually see the footage because I can't screen capture it, but you can hear it's happening, and you can see some subtitles and stuff like that going on in there. You just actually can't see the action itself. But that is currently playing. Now, if we were to go and turn the VPN off, for example, and we were to access it outside of Ireland, I'm just busy refreshing over here, you won't be able to watch the channel. So it is purely an Ireland free-to-air channel, and therefore you have to either be in the location, which is Ireland, or else you have to be able to use a VPN to be able to access it if you are outside of the territory itself, because it is all being geolocated. So it is as easy as that, though. All you have to do is go and download ExpressVPN and connect to an Ireland server. By the way, you can also use this method to watch Bulls versus Zebra, as well as Lions versus Leinster. However, that has been shown on TG4. The links will be in the description for those watch-alongs, as well as we'll have our own videos on those ones as well. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. Otherwise, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon. Right, so that's how you can watch all the action tonight. So don't miss out. Go and get yourself ExpressVPN. By the way, I would recommend getting ExpressVPN for the year, because you can actually watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free on ExpressVPN. So go and get yourself sorted, and then you can watch all the action for the entire World Cup. So why wouldn't you, at the end of the day? Look at some of the comments over here. Eric saying this will be stupendous. International players all over if they want it bad. Boom, has Diamond been capped? Diamond, no. Obviously, I'm never watching a Zebra game again. That was the biggest waste of time, and that was the first time I've seen them play. The Stormers are busy walking out over here. I'll be saying, have you ever thought about having like 2 people about these commentary streams? We might experiment over the next couple of weeks. We're just busy trying anything out. Right, so there we go. Stormers are out there, and we're ready to go. We're going to move to our stats section. Here we go. Apparently, this is the preferred view. You guys have got an option, actually. View 1, view 2. I'm actually going to put it out as a poll. You need to start getting some feedback from you guys. So we're going to end the poll on who's going to win. Right, so it's not a new poll. So as I said, you've got view 1, which is this one, and you've got view 2, which has got the stats on the side. So I'm going to put it out to you guys, what you guys prefer, and we'll use that for the game. We do have kickoff, by the way, and we are now into the action early on there. And an early penalty here for Munster. That's a good start. That's a very, very good start from them. Right, so which view do you prefer? Which view do you prefer? View 1 or view 2? Go and vote. Let's get some real-time feedback from you guys. Good line out there. And let's break straight through. And I think they're over there. They got Browning as the question. Craig Casey wants to have a look. And we're going to have a look here. What a start to the match, though, by the way. We're going to go to the CMO to see. Well, I'll tell you what, it might be the perfect start here for Munster if they have scored. I don't think we're going to see any grounding here. think it's on the top of Dan du Plessis' foot. The on-field decision was a try, which I think was a big call from Craig Evans. So he has to find evidence not to award it. I don't think there's grounding there. Yep, the try's been awarded. There was no evidence to overturn. Looks like quite a big travelling Munster support, by the way. So that's a dreadful start for Stormers. A perfect start for Munster. You go 5-0 up after within the first 2 minutes. Yeah, it's a really good maul. He just breaks off the back. And from that sort of range, difficult man stop. All right, Jack Riley with the conversion attempt now. Yep, conversion is good. So they take a 7-0 lead early on. And yeah, look, I'm quite, as I said, the commentators mentioned there was quite a lot of red in around the stadium. I wasn't convinced at first, but it does look like there are quite a few traveling supporters, which is very good to see. Right, so the restart going down the left-hand side. It's Arkek's name underneath it. Well taken as well by the giant lock. These are good games tonight. We'll just need to get through these games, I suppose. Right, and goes out high does Conor Murray. Damien Phillips, his first touch of the game. What can he conjure up here? Such an exciting player with the ball in hand and such good form at the moment as well. Slow ball, you have Paul de Vet, Joseph Dweber, his first carry of the day. Big tackle on him coming from, I think it was Peter Amani actually. Ben Jason Dixon, very, very impressed with him in the last few weeks. I think he's coming leaps and bounds. Ronnie Liebach popping up to Cinnamon Hartzenberg, who's been very good on the attack, but I think for me, he's got a lot to learn on defense. It's been exposed a couple of times now. Ben Jason Dixon once again trying to get his arms through the tackle. Much better this from Stormers. Paul de Vet going to Ronnie Liebach. Ronnie Liebach, bit of a fade, and then David Phillips throws a long pass out wide for Sabina Snadler to run on. He cuts to the side. He's brought down by Murray with help from Calvin Nash. Now Joseph Dweber, helped up by Stephen Kitsoff. Dweber going to Ronnie Liebach. Not too much chance. Liebach just goes to that left boot of his. So just chips it over the top. Time for Mike Haley. It's a very good kick as well for Mike. That's a brilliant kick from him. He's put them in. They're taking it quickly though, have the Stormers. Phillips goes back to Mike Liebach. Mike Liebach steps inside, but there's a good tackle coming in. Needs a bit of support here. Stormers under a bit of pressure. Paul de Vet going to Ben Jason Dixon, show and go. And the ball's popped down from that turnover ball for Munster. And then another knock on. We'll have our first scrum of the day. So not a particularly good start this for the Stormers. They need to try and brush up quite quickly because, yeah, they're under a bit of pressure at the moment, and Munster have a scrum here. So it's a little bit aimless with their kick in behind. Not too much thought going into it, I don't think. Right, you guys have voted, and you guys seem to prefer view number 1. So we'll go back to that. There we go. That's what view number 1 is. And if you really have an issue with it, then let me know in the comments. But we'll stick to that for the time being. And a reset here. Okay, pretty solid scrum. They're not too much moving at all. And Gavin Coon's doing a lot trying to get that ball to it. And it's Conor Murray just thought about going right, decides to go left. Jack Crowley's finding a bit of space. Good tackle will be made by Willie Engelbrecht. Now Malachi Fekitoa. And that's going to be accidental offside. It'll be turnover ball, I think. Yeah, Peter Marnie's getting in the way of Fekitoa. He was asking for the high tackle earlier from Ben Jason Dixon. Almost looked like it on Jack Crowley. Apparently it was all right, though, from the referee. And Fekitoa running into Peter Marnie. So it'll be a scrum for the Stormers. The time back on, yeah, a couple of the medics were coming on and the referee sent them packing, which is good to see because, yeah, we need to speed up to get the pace of play here. Right, I'm going to run a poll here. And I want to ask, will Archie Stayman, or should Archie Stayman, go to the World Cup? Bearing in mind that this is about his 3rd or 4th game this season. So that's my poll. We're going to put it up there. Go in the comment on it. Let me know what you think. Should he or should he not be going to the World Cup? Right, so now it's time for Stormers. It's a pretty solid first scrum. Not too much in it, so let's see if Stormers with the fee can try and assert a bit of authority. It is an all international front row. And Francois Herbert's feet has gone completely underneath them, so we're going to have a reset here. We have a reset. Craig Evans has come to Francois Herbert's side. Another reset here. So it's almost about halfway between the 10-meter and the halfway line. Pretty central, probably towards the right-hand side of anything. Looks like a much better set there. Paul DeVette going to Monty Liebach. Monty Liebach, a couple of options, goes to Ronald on the run. Ronald popping up to space. So Nutley's got a bit of space. Puts it back inside with Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis, very good carry from him. Needs a bit of support. Quick recycle. Really good work from the Stormers. Monty Liebach looking for the cross kick towards Simon Hartenberg. Well, he makes the tackle. I personally think he's jumped into that tackle here, has Shane Daly. So I don't think they can... Oh, that's a really good work there. I think it's that Ben Jason Dixon. What's the decision here? What's the penalty here for Munster? For what? Yeah, I personally think this is Shane Daly jumping into tackle rather than tackle in the air. Yeah, it's a bit of a fine line. It's difficult to say from the letter of the law, but I think Shane Daly's bought this penalty. He knows that Cinnamon Hartenberg is coming in big, so he just goes off his feet, takes his, I mean, literally, takes his feet off the ground. It's supposed to jump. It's not like he actually went that high. We had to jump up to get the ball. He just decides to go into the air so that he gets the protection, and then as soon as Hartenberg makes the hit, the Wigan play comes in, and Munster win the penalty. gamesmanship was what they call it, but David Williams has done brilliantly to keep that in. Is up and under high, hasn't gone particularly far, and he's giving chase. The Munster have won that ball back though. Very good contest in the air, and this ball's not going to come out, Joe. Ref. There it is. Eventually does come out. Conor Murray, Munster with possession just inside their own half. Good line being run by Arcus Snyman, as well as the offload coming in there. Now coming in a scrum half. I tell you what is he can't do? Conor Murray goes back to Crowley. Just high in the air, a couple of chases here. Fekitoa will be lurking. So now it just taps it back to Moy Liebach. He pops it up David Williams. So he's got a bit of pressure from Fekitoa. Does manage to get kicking downfield. It's a bit of a messy stage of play here. And Mike Haley hammers it towards the left-hand side. Good work there on David Williams to cover the ground. Steps inside of one. Under a bit of pressure, David Williams. A little bit isolated. Needs a bit of support. It does come. Paul de Wet popping up to Billy Engelbrecht. He's hit hard by Stephen Archer, but gets through the tackle well. Now Paul de Wet looking to go to the box kick. Nope, decides to go to Moy Liebach. Dan showing and going in between two players. Good tackle coming in from Barron as well as Gavin Coombs. Now big counter ruck coming in from Munster. Paul de Wet though emerging with the ball. Oh, a bit of a show and go there from Frans Moherber. And the ball is going everywhere at the moment. And Ruben van Heerden eventually comes away with it. And over the ball there goes Stephen Archer, and penalty for the Stormers. A bit frantic that last sort of 3 or 4 minutes. Pretty unstructured, not too much passion, not too much, as I said, not too much pre-planned moves coming in there. It's just kind of just living off the scraps. Will saying, let's see how he goes today, but yes, wish Archer would go back his gnarly hairstyle. I mean, man's got a mohawk, to be fair, at the moment. So, I mean, certainly not going orthodox. But he started well so far as Arceus Neyman. And the important thing is, yeah, just get to the end of the season, get him into a Bok camp, and then see where he's at. Good line there. Moneyball going short to Dan Duplessis. He's had a very, very good season in the number 12 jersey. So much so that they had decided to keep David Williams at full back. The grabber from Moneyball comes off the boost of a Munster player. And Sinetler goes inside to David Williams, so he loses it forward. Turnover ball here for Munster. So Stormers just paying the price for not being as accurate as they should be, maybe. Now Klein just hammering it up. Conor Murray quite late to get into the ruck here. He's going to go to the boot. Conor Murray lifting it high will be a tester for Damian Brilliant, so he goes up and comes down brilliantly as well. Throws the ball back inside, but it's turned over. Calvin Nash comes away with it, and his kick is charged down by Willie Engelbrecht, who then throws it to Chiba Daimani, who goes inside. And I think, pick of the one of the 15 knock-ons there. First one coming from Damian Williams, so it'll be a Munster scrum. As I said, messy so far, very messy. Good line being run there by Malachi Fekitoa at the back of the scrum. Quick ball to Conor Murray and Arceus Neyman. And he gets the offload away, as he always does. Big hit as well as the offload. He's so good in that space. Crowley cut out pass. Nash comes on the inside. Conor Murray now going to a couple of good Nash to play the good offload to Klein, who gets the offload away as well. Some nice handling here from Munster, must be said. Arceus Neyman with that. Oh, he's so, this is the Arceus Neyman we know. Every single time he's going into contact, he's getting that massive miss of the ball in and around people's arms, trying to get that offload away. That ball's moved forward a bit, and Marvin always going to try and actually win a penalty. Or knock-on is the call. Very good to see what Arcus Name has done in the first 15 minutes here. Free kick, quickly taken here from the Stormers. Dame Williams hams it on the right boot there. Haley is hit hard by Sullivan and Harsenberg. As to get inside to Nash. Sorry, to Shane Daly rather. Conor Murray, inside ball, that's Klein. Arcus Neyman is there in support. Slow ball this for Conor Murray. You expect him to go to the boot here. Yeah, goes high in the air. Miley Leibach underneath it, and he's got Sebastian Snathley on his outside. Looking to go himself here as the Miley Leibach. He's a bit of half a gap. He's eventually brought down by Barron. Now Joseph Dweber. Another carry for him. Paul DeVet going to Damien Willemser. Damien Willemser goes high in the air. David Duplessis, Sebastian Snathley doing the chase. Snathley goes out. The ball is allowed to bounce. Jack Crowley gets back there. So a couple of players trying to get away from Snathley. Does very well to wrap him up. But the Munster support is back. Conor Murray now going to his tight end, Stephen Archer. Now Conor Murray lifting high in the air with that very pretty almost very famous actually. You know, he just doesn't lose the ball particularly, just allows to drop his boot. And Stephen Kitsov now. That's a very good run from Spicy Plum. Hachiba Daimoni looking to pick up and go. He does it so effectively, try and keep the continuity going for the Stormers and try and create that sort of broken space. Marty Leibach now very flat to Billy Engelberg, trying to get over the advantage line, but he's lost out. Peter O'Mahony is now put on his right boot. And Ruan now is getting back. He will be under a bit of pressure here from Haley. Does do well to get away from him. He runs into Arcus Sneeman. Good tackle from the big lock. Now Paul DeVet popping up short to Ruben van Heerden. Not too many options, so he decides to run into Alex Kendelin. He stands up pretty well, makes the tackle. Paul DeVet now to Marty Leibach. Leibach delaying the pass. De Willemsen now to Dan du Plessis. Paul DeVet. Benjay Dixon getting the offload. And Marvin Ori, really good pickup as well for Marty Leibach. From Marvin Ori there. Popping up to Stephen Kitsov. It's a big hit on him. Ball comes loose. Ruben van Heerden throws out wide to Chiva Daimani. Got plenty of pace, hands off, and gets the offload away to Sebastian Snatler, who had a bit of a slip. Now he's going Snatler, looking for an offload back inside towards Ruan Null. Has managed to keep it inside somehow. Slow ball, this now for Paul DeVet. Goes to Marty Leibach going to Francois Herber. And that is a brilliant, from the side I think is the call. Yeah, from the side there from Peter O'Mahony. Quite a lot of afters happening at the moment. There's a lot being said. Francois Herber getting involved, as Peter O'Mahony always does. Marvin Ori now up against Diamond Barron. The referee taking quite a while to get this all sorted. Gonna have a conversation between the two captains. Not too much in it, to be perfectly honest. It's Peter O'Mahony actually and Joseph Dweber getting involved, and Marvin Ori putting his hand on O'Mahony, which is not great to see, to be honest. Yeah, I think Marvin Ori could be in trouble here. I don't like the fact that he had his hand on Peter O'Mahony's face here. So he comes over, and they can seize the penalty, does Peter O'Mahony. Joseph Dweber then pulls him down. And smacks Peter O'Mahony to try and entice a bit of a reaction from him. Peter Marnie gives him a bit of a shove. Joe Stewart is still having a bit of a chat. Francois Herbert then decides to grab Peter Marnie, and Marvin Ory then decides to put his hand over Peter Marnie's face, which is not a great look, to be honest. Joe Stewart is really shouting in his face. Yeah, and it's been reversed. Well done, Marvin Ory. That's a really good job. That's a really good job. You won a penalty in a good position when you've been under pressure, and you've now got to reverse from just a bit of thuggery and stupidity. To be honest, that's the only way to really describe it. I know Peter Marnie's just standing there, as Stephen Kitts was saying. He also reacting. He's just sitting there, like I'm saying nothing. Yeah, that's just stupid from Marvin Ory. There's just no need for that. But all of a sudden, Munster are on the attack here. And this is, as I said, you pay the price for being stupid, unfortunately. Good running more here, but he is doing a pretty good job there at the back there. I don't know where this ball is, though. It is available there for Conor Murray, who does use it. Pick your toe. Oh, that's a huge tackle. Goodness me. Well, Crowley's done very well to get up, but Ruan now has absolutely hammered him. Daly coming back inside to Crowley, who wore that hit very well. Peter O'Mahony finding himself out on the wing there. Big kick coming from Spencer Nuttler on him. Oh, cheap was Arceus Neyman. I'll tell you what, Arceus Neyman has come to play. He has come to play. Yeah, it's a high tackle. Look, I think Peter Martin, he hasn't gone particularly high. Peter Martin's kind of sort of fallen into it. So it's just the penalty, which I think is the right decision. Yeah, I think penalty only is a fair sharp there. I don't think there's too much in it. So the TMO is asked to have a look. I don't think. Look, I think it is. He's gone down. You see, he slipped. Amani has slipped. If he had kept the position he was going to be, Sebastian Nuttler has already committed to a tackle, and it's a low tackle as well. So he slipped into it. So I think he actually get into a yellow card. I think it's a direct shoulder to head contact. We'll be 10 minutes in the bin for Sinatra. That's a harsh call, isn't it? Because, you know, it's shoulder head contact, which is an automatic yellow card, but Amani literally slips into the contact, which is what saved him from a red card. I don't think he's not particularly high there. Yeah, I think that's a very harsh call, to be honest. I think if he doesn't slip into the tackle, I think he's hitting him very legally and probably sort of, not even sort of a high weight, high chest. But Stormers at the moment are just a little bit frazzled at the moment, it must be said. Good take there from Klein. Now, once again, going to the rolling more here on Munster. And they're broken apart. And he's now going freely. And Moin Liebach has been hammered out the way. Damon Barron with his second. Munster flying at the moment. Stormers shell shock down to 14. Not looking good. And Barron with the second. The rolling more looking really, really good. Arcus Neyman smiling. He's had a great game so far as well. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Not quite what the Stormers had in mind here. What a great ball. As it breaks off here. And then he's just got Moin Liebach to beat, and Moin Liebach goes far too upright. He's never going to stop him from that sort of distance. Back Crowley. It was a good kick in the first one. Looking to make it 2 from 2. And it's curling a lot. I think it's going to curl too much. Yeah, it curls away down the left-hand side. So it'll just remain at 12 points. But a good start here from Munster. And the Stormers, very, very sloppy. They need to start turning things around here because this has not been particularly good at all. Worrying signs here from the Stormers, who just can't really get into the game at the moment after 23 minutes. They're going down the right-hand side there. Amani gets up well to take it. And now, another 10 minutes with 14 men here for the Stormers. Probably about 8 minutes now. So, okay, there for Stephen Archer. This is high in the air. Damien Williamson gets underneath it. Very good take from Damien Williamson. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far, apart from that one poor offload. Very good at the high ball. Joseph Dweber, big tackle coming in from Kendallin. Gavin Coombs lurking. Paul DeVette, not much on. Lots of a couple blockers. He's going to go to the boot here. High from Paul DeVette. Oh dear, it's a horrible moment from Jack Crowley. He's knocked that on. Turn over the ball here. Big opportunity here, but it's a great tackle on Billy Engelbrecht to try and stop the momentum. Paul DeVette over to Chachu Damani. Big tackle on him. And they'll go back for the knock-on. This is a big opportunity now for the Stormers. Big mistake there for Crowley to catch that. Under no pressure as well. So you kind of wonder how he's got that so wrong. Just gets it very well. Takes his eye off it in the last minute and it just falls straight through his hands. So Stormers scrum just outside 22 on the right-hand side. So it's a nice attacking position here. The question is, do they have a set move they can conjure up? There is a very large Munster coaching staff. I like the purple, must admit. I think it's pretty cool. Yes, this kid. That is a dreadful post to put it. You know you're busy being hammered. I mean, put a sign saying, what is the difference between Munster and a teacup? A tea stays in the cup longer. a big shout when you're 12 points down, must admit. Pretty big Munster support shout. I'd like to almost do a bit of a pan of the stage. You see there's a big Munster section there. There's quite a few red shirts in the back. That's pretty cool to see. Looks like a decent crowd in the Cape Town as well. Good to see the good attendance figures. Springbok Rugby on decline again. No surprise. Can't even beat Munster. Well, Munster are behind Stormers on the log, so not quite sure what that. I mean, also I always love how Stormers are losing to Munster. Therefore, that's a reflection on Springboks. So we'll ignore the fact that 50% of the Springbok 23 plays rugby outside South Africa. Paul de Vet, Moy Liebach. That's really poor. Really poor turnover ball. Kendall now, Munster turnover ball, yeah. Not too much on. Jack Crowley stepping away from Stephen Kitsoff. Goes to his left boot. Liebach hanging a bit of time there. Under a bit of pressure. The kick chase has come. But he's by himself. Now Dave Vince looking for the counter attack. Stepping inside of Gavin Coombs. Trying to get away from Claney, but has well to tackle him. Paul de Vet looking for options. Goes Stephen Kitsoff. Stephen Kitsoff's going to go himself. Joseph Dweber now popping up to Damien Willemser. Damien Willemser popping back to Joseph Dweber. Peter Marnie doing very good work there. Showing his class. I think it's an advantage here though. I think it's for a penalty. Ruben van Heerden putting his head down. It's a very physical clash. I'll give him that much. Some pretty big hits here so far. I'll go back for the penalty. 70 feet. It's off speed against Peter O'Mahony. Right, so Moy Liebach will be able to progress Stormers up. And then he's scored some points for half time. Doing pretty well so far just to manage things right with 14 men. But you've got to score some points. Don't want to go to half time 12 points to nil down, do you? Put yourself behind even before you even get going. Good take there from Chachiba Daimani. Penalty advantage as well being shown. So the good opportunity is for Stormers. Liebach decides to put it go in behind for Dan to see Fekitoa. Oh, he's actually made a bit of a stuff up with this Fekitoa. He's still going, Fekitoa. And I'll tell you what, with a 5-meter scrum, Fekitoa absolutely butchering that. If he had just taken it, it would have gone back for the penalty. He's trying to pop it back to Crowley, and he's made a complete hash of it. And he's eventually been bundled over the line by Dan du Plessis, and it'll be a 5-meter scrum for the Stormers. Yeah, Fekitoa has made a complete hash of that. Big opportunity this now for the Stormers. Got to make this count. They're on the 5-meter line with a scrum. Got to back your front row, back your set piece. Right, Francois Herbert, big opportunity this for the Stormers to try and score some points. On the brink of the half-hour mark, 5-meter scrum on the right-hand side. Pretty solid as well. Paul de Vet's going to have a good and penalty advantage as well. So people roll the dice. Paul de Vet goes to Dan du Plessis. Wants to come back on the angle. Pick up and go as well. From Ruben, I think it's Ben Jason Smith. Now Stephen Kitsoff. 5 meters out. Paul de Vet popping up to Joseph Dweber. Strong leg drive from the Springbok hooker. Ruben van Heerden now. Popping up. Oh, Francois Herbert! Into the corner. Diving over. Things you love to see. Things you love to see. Francois Herbert, that's his first career try, by the way. In URC Rugby, the first try for Francois Herbert, and he's gone diving over the things. I mean, you gotta love, you gotta appreciate that. And just diving over. Ruben van Heerden, great offload from him, and then Francois Herbert, support play with the dive over the corner. Things you love to see. Right, mind you, this first opportunity. I already said it was an important opportunity and they had to capitalize. They have capitalized. So they have scored their first points. Good work there on the Stormers. I don't think there'll be a more popular man in the dressing room at halftime after scoring a try than Francois Herbert, especially in that sort of fashion. I'll just bring out the Richter scale and see if Cape Town's still standing. It's not a great 10 for my leave. I've got to slide down to the left, so it'll remain a 7-point game. But I tell you what, Francois Herbert diving like that could disrupt a bit of infrastructure in the area. Great offload from Ruben van Heerden as he's going down. And then the big dive from Francois Herbert. Who even knew he had that in him? And Super is back on the park. So they went down to 14 men and scored a try. Good work from the Stormers. 7 points in it. Achira Daimani throwing a couple of players. Well, still going with Achira Daimani. Such a good skill set and a good turn of pace as well. Set amount of strength as well. Paul de Beek going back to Moy Liebach. He lifts us high in the air. Not gone particularly far. Suleiman Hartenberg is chasing. It's allowed to bounce though, and will bounce towards him and Mike Haley, who's hit by Suleiman Hartenberg and Ruben van Heerden as well getting involved. The ball then pops up on the Stormers side and lost forward, so it'll be a Stormers scrum. So the momentum just shifting a little bit at the moment. Bit of break and play as Haley gets a bit of treatment. But yeah, a bit of a momentum shift here, and they need to capitalize on the Stormers. They can't let this sort of fade. They've got to try and ride a bit of a wave here and get themselves sorted. Right, 8 minutes to go before half time. Stormers with the scrum deep inside their own half. Pretty good hit there as well. And now call to Houston, Paul de Beek. Pretty flat to Andrew Bassi. Moy Liebach's wrapping around, giving it to Suleiman Hartenberg going on the shoulder. Good carry there from the winger. Advantage as well. Paul de Beek going to Liebach. Good carry there from Ben Jason Dixon. Popping up now for Ruben van Heerden, who wants to go himself. A little bit too upright, so doesn't make too many yards. Falls back to Marvin Ori. I think they'll want the penalty here, to be honest. Not too much happening here. Right, what do we say? My Herbert's my hero, I swear. Swan dive, beautiful. France the King, I said every week. I agree to saying, you know, but isn't a great coach. Lost 3 times to Australia. Didn't win Rugby Championship last year. Springboks have 0 chance to win the World Cup, unfortunately. Yeah, he also won the World Cup in the British and Irish Lions series, which everybody always seems to sort of leave behind. But, you know, shame. You know, it's not like the best club in the world don't see the value in him. But hey, you do you, dude. You do you. as Albie says, best club in the world. See value in him. So, in fact, it's been interesting to see the reaction. A lot of South African fans going, "Oh, well, this is good news. We don't need him," and all the Irish supporters, especially the Leicester supporters, are saying that this has been a brilliant acquisition for them. So, yeah. How's it, Zach? Hope you're well. Right, 6 minutes before half time. The Stormers are on at the 22. At this stage, the win prediction is sitting at 70% for Munster, 27% for Stormers. You can remember that. But let's see if Stormers can mount a bit of a comeback. And that's a dreadful line. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But it's an advantage for forward. They were going short there, but that just went to nobody. That's the most bizarre line we've seen all day. So Stephen Archer dealing with the ball up, pops it up to Barron. Call comes to use it for Conor Murray. He's looking for a good clearance. That's a very good clearance of Conor Murray. It is something he is very good. It's so good at the base of the ruck from the boot. That little bit of a snap hook action. Billy Engelbrecht, short, good carry from him. Ball in behind, and he's almost been spilled that, so he has marked that. Leinster, the best club in the world. How exactly? They haven't won a European trophy in 4 years. Okay, well then who's the best club in the world? Because La Rochelle's won one, didn't win the top 14 though. Leinster have been in 3 finals since 2017. Saracens, so it's gone Leinster, Saracens, Exeter, Toulouse, La Rochelle. They've been a different flipping winner for the last 5 seasons. So you're gonna go and say it's Saracens who were playing in the championship because they were broke salary cap because they won it 3 times. Or else you're gonna go La Rochelle. We're gonna decide that Toulouse is the best side. Where are we going at here? Historically, the 2 most successful teams in the competition have been Toulouse and Leinster. So, yeah. Another penalty for Stormers here, by the way. We're playing with one here in the air. But Snaren's gone up and they have won it, so that's not gone well for Stormers. They've lost possession, yeah, and that's kind of winning the story of their heart. Maybe sometimes they had an opportunity. Good carry there for Marcus Snaren. They've just made a mistake. There's 2 liners now, for example, in the 22 that they've lost. So Munster have done very well to hold on to that lead. Conor Murray finds touch. Ninaba had help of others at the World Cup and Lions series. Mate, that might be the worst argument I've ever heard. I mean, that's literally, it's shock. A coach is part of a coaching staff. Who would have thought? Yeah, no, listen, mate. If you're going to try and troll and try and make a point, at least make a good point. At least try and do it well. Mollybuck goes short to Daniel. But see, Daniel Steve's burst straight through. He needs some support. Long pass out wide to Sanatla. That's brilliantly timed by Sanatla. He's been taken out here, though. And has been carried back. It has been carried back, so it'll be a 5-meter scrum for the Stormers. Great break there from Dan Duplessis. Perfect little pass over the top. Sanatla running onto it brilliantly as well. Right, the Stormers with the last opportunity before the half time. 1 minute left. full right of the field to work with here. So an opportunity for them to try and level things up if they can get a converted try before half time. What can they conjure up? Munster having to have made 87 tackles so far. The Stormers 36 shows you the dominance, or the possession at least, that the Stormers have had. But the Munster defense has been very, very impressive. Ball to goes to Dan du Plessis. And Chaimani has lost it forward, and it continues to be the case, isn't it? Every single time that Stormers have had an opportunity, they've made some silly errors. But Shane Daly is offside, thankfully for the Stormers, because they made a completely butchered that one. Then there goes the hooter. Decision time, interesting decision time, and be interested to see what they do. They want to go for another scrum, go for the line out. They have opted for another scrum. I think that's probably the right call. But they got to score points here, otherwise you might as well have gone for the 3 points. They don't score a try here. Big scrum here needed from the Stormers. Portervet's lurking. Going himself, going to Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis goes himself. Strong carry from the inside centre. Popping out to Portervet. Portervet managed to get an offload away to Roompan here, who's bounced. Headed out the way, and it's another penalty of offside. Portervet going to the left-hand side. Moy Liebok. Not too much on for Moy Liebok. Stormers less than 5 minutes out. Portervet looking for options. Goes himself. That was not the right option at all. You can see Dane Benson wasn't particularly impressed with that. Only about taking a long time to get this ball out. And a penalty does come. All right, another decision here to make. Do they go with the line out? Do they continue with the scrum? It was a pretty solid scrum. Decent opportunity for them. So I'd back them to have another good scrum. Stephen Kitsop being in the front row will probably also help his decision, because he'll want to keep going as long as he feels he's got a bit of dominance. Yeah, he wants another scrum, yeah. Yeah, he calls another scrum, yeah, there's Stephen Kitsop. He backs himself. Another reset here, so they're going to keep going until they get a reward to the Stormers. It's available if Portervet. Portervet goes down to Plessis, down to Stevie, going to Ruan Nile. Ruan Nile making a couple of tackles over the line. Can he get grounding? The try is awarded. Right, well, there we go. It's exactly what the Stormers needed. Ruan Nile, and that's a hell of a carry from him, by the way. He had about 3 or 4 defenders trying to get through, and he hammers over them, does get the down. Should be pretty straightforward for Moy Liebok, and the two teams should go into half time Level on points. Just popping up to Ruan now. Bang! And he's still going. Look at the leg drive. And then just bang. Just straight over the top. And now I'm about just to add the 2 extras and level out the scores at half time. And he does just that. Right, 12 points apiece. We will take a short break here. We'll see you guys for the second half. Please do smash a like on the video on the way out. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys after a bit. All right, and we are back for the final half of the South African team's URC weekend. The Stormers level with Munster after going behind 12-0. They have come back to level things and currently sit at 12 points apiece. And yeah, very, very big shift being put in by the Stormers towards the latter stages of that half. And good to see some big performances as well. The likes of RK Snyman's played very well so far today, which is good to see. We have had a yellow card. But Nutler was carded earlier, which is a bit harsh, but no harm in the end, really, as the Stormers do kick things off on level terms against Munster. And RK Snyman has knocked it on in the first... No, backwards, apparently. Call come from the side, I think, that it was knock on. First real big mistake coming from the big man. He's been very good. Couple of nice offloads, couple of big hits. So yeah, it will be a Stormers, a Munster scrum. The Storm knocking coming from the Stormers. Thing is a bit harsh. Penalty from the Stormers at the scrum though, so no harm done there. They'll be chuffed about that. So good start from the Stormers front row and immediately looking to go to the points. Oh, it's off the upright. It's off the upright. Oh, it's a big tackle though. And a free kick. Not sure what the free kick's for. Trying to work out. So I'll call the mark off the post there, which you can do. So it's a good appreciation of the laws, to be fair, from him. Right, let's get some of the comments, shall we? And Munster have been robbed, and Leicester will be less strong with the... Yeah, no, listen, mate. Will you have a soft to agree with you? Leicester will finish 10th next year season with Inaba says there. I mean, should we just start starring these all now? Because you know that's not going to be the case. But anyway, so some guys got basically graded 2 different accounts, and he's just changed himself in the comments. Fair enough, dude. You do you. The best saying definitely wish Springboks had Joe Schmidt or Eddie Jones. They'd be so much better. Volunteer for the Stormers. Long pass up on Liebach. 2 minutes on the angle here. This could be them in to Hartzenberg. Hartzenberg's got a lot to do. Gets on the outside. And he's just gone out. So we'll go back for the penalty. You got to feel, I think Hartzenberg might have should have done better here. That's a great pass. And the evidence on the... And Hartzenberg, just go for it, mate. I think if he had just gone for it, he would have actually scored it. Go to the corner here with the Stormers. Right, so we asked earlier if RKS Slammer should go to the World Cup, and it's been a resounding yes, apparently. 80%, oh my goodness, Peter O'Mahony has just pickpocketed that straight from the Stormers. So chance goes to begging. How important was that kick for Marnie Liebach now looking back at it? Conor Murray going to the butcher. And won't find too much. So the Stormers just back to 22, but we'll have to sort of restart from deep. Pretty big miss that from Marnie Liebach. Pretty important in the context of the game. Would have been Stormers ahead for the first time had he slotted it. So also not the most difficult kick either. So it's pretty poor from him in the end. But Stormers need to be clinical here. They've got to try and find some opportunities and get themselves in front. They go to the back of the line to Tio Damani. It's a good line out. He pops it up to Billy Engelbrecht. Pass to Paul de Vert, who goes to Sebastian Nuttler. A bit of a pre-planned move, but not quite executing to the its best. Now Kitsoff popping it up to Damani, looking for the offload. And it goes a bit loose though. Turnover ball. And Kitsoff was asking for obstruction and does get the penalty. John Clay has been penalised for that. Again, probably be taking the points there. Not, it's maybe not the easiest place, but I just kind of get the feeling that they're struggling at lineouts at the moment. And from a mental perspective, I was just trying to get myself in front here. No contest this time. So it's a good looking running more. Joseph Dreber at the back, looking to get the ball. He does have the ball as Joseph Dreber, working really hard as the Stormers more. It's breaking apart a little bit. They're going to be just short. Penalty advantage here. Try and get that ball out. It's actually ended up on the Munster side, I think. No, it wasn't an advantage, by the way. I think he was just telling the backline to move. So it's actually been turned over here. I'm not sure how that's happened. Well, they've come away with the ball somehow of Munster. I don't think the Stormers will be too chuffed with that. And now Conor Murray will find clearance. Doesn't find that far. So still very much parked in the Munster half-yard Stormers, but not converting the pressure into points here. I'm just trying to work out how this ball comes out. All of a sudden, the ball's on the Munster side. Right, Evan Ruiz back on the park, and that'll make a lot of people very, very happy after that long layoff. He is back on. So let's see how Evan Ruiz has spent his time off the field. And see what sort of condition he's in right now. Really good to see him back. We go to Marvin Ori. The vet goes to Dadu Basi. And Evan Ruiz with his first carry post injury. Good one as well. Now Paul de Vet popping up to Ruben van Heerden. He's worked hard today. Always does. He's the tightest worker. And there we go. Evan Ruiz once again back in the action. Now Darmani. Ball pops up for Liebach, and it could be turnover ball. It is turnover ball, knock-on advantage as well. David Willemser, good kick there and good to gather from Snatler. Passing it up to Stan Duplessis. He's had a good game again. And a penalty for Munster. Well, there you go. They've withered a storm, a very big storm as well, it must be said. They've been under a lot of pressure. And they've finally been able to get win a penalty and they'll be able to clear their lines. What a big moment that is. Under a lot of pressure. And it must be said, credit to Munster, who've just sort of stuck in it and just not gone away. Happy to just keep plugging away until they eventually get something out of it. Yeah, it's a big mental win as well to be able to withstand that sort of onslaught and be able to come away unscathed. Good kick from Jack Cry. Now it'll be Stormers' turn to defend. They started well so far in the half of Stormers, but didn't manage to capitalize any of the pressure. And all of a sudden, they're going to be under pressure. And it just goes to show, you just got to hang in there, you know, and understand when you're going to have chances, when you got to defend. And Munster knuckled down. They defended well. Good handling here. Goes out towards Daly. Shane Daly's got a lot of space ahead of him. Cuts inside of Sinatra. He's eventually brought down. But Munster into the 22. This is good work. Conor Murray wants to go down the short side. He's throwing it straight out. I think there was a call that came, which is why he went that way. And in the end, looked pretty amateur, to be perfectly honest. I don't know why he was going the blind side there. It didn't seem like it was the best option. There were like two swords defenders there. Now Storm is building from deep. Taking his time here is Paul de Vet. Goes to the box kick, looking for a good clearance here. Needs to find a decent. Doesn't look terrible. Not gone too much distance though. So Munster still with the territory here. Stormers all of a sudden under a bit of pressure. The best safe Stormers showing no fight. Should be 20 points up. Gift to the game for Munster. Clearly don't care about their fans. And obviously says Stormers is missing Eben. Well, I've got Ruben van Heerden who's doing a pretty good job, to be fair. I suppose if you had Ruben van Heerden and you had Eben Etzebeth. But yeah, look, it was a long time ago. Has been a very, very physical game. So it is a game that is absolutely prepped for the likes of an Etzebeth to get involved in. Good line. Oh, a bit of intercept there for Moin Liebach. Moin Liebach has been brought in down by John Klein up to the halfway line. That should be a penalty for Munster, though. Although leave it as the call, so it will be available for Paul de Vet. Stormers up to the halfway line. Now Ruben van Heerden working hard there. Paul de Vet now to David Vince. Not too much on David Vince trying to kick him behind. Now Sinatra jumps over the top and he's just chipped the straight touch. That's really poor from Sinatra. Absolutely no need to panic whatsoever. Just hold on to it. There's no need for that. Bit of a break and play, yeah. So we're about 52 minutes in, just 12 minutes after half time. Of course, still level, still not much in the game. Still either side's game, I suppose. A bit of a break and play. The Mexican Waves were brought out down in Cape Town Stadium, so at least the fans are having a good time. John Clayton's gone off as well. A couple of subs here as Jack O'Donoghue enters the park. The Stormers, just Evan Rhodes, who's on. It's just a sub a piece for each side. Good carry that from Bigger Toe. He sent Mikey by packing. He's still, I think, falling backwards. Couple of good phases here from Munster, trying to break down the Stormers' defense. Crowley. Stormers up to the 10-meter line now. Gavin Coombs being brought down by Stephen Kitsoff. Oh, good offload that. There's Barron running on the angle, yeah. O'Donoghue, first touch there. Oh, got quality almost straight through. Eventually brought down. Promising signs from Munster. They're going to about their 10th phase here. Must be Archie Sneeman now. Brought down by the two Stormers locks. Oh, good offloads here. Now Daly being brought down by Snutler, trying to get back onto his feet and over the ball, showing that 7 skills that he has. Now Feki Toa. Brought down Paul DeVet. Good work there. So Munster losing a bit of ground there. Good carry from Wycherley, by the way. He's just come on as well. Crowley now caught in the ball by Marvin Ori in two minds. And Nash almost through. Kind of making a bit of pressure there. Yeah, that's me. Zach O'Donoghue, 14 phases and still going. Munster not getting any sort of, not really getting anywhere, to be honest. It's good defense. That's a big tackle again. Coming on Archer. I think it was Evan Lewis and Marvin Ori. Now the hands. Who decides to go himself does Anton Frisch. Now they're looking to try and carry him up, but eventually do get him down to the ground, get his knee to the ground. But no, more called. So there we go. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant defensive passage from the Stormers. They go on to win this game. They'll look at that and they'll think that was a big moment in the game. To withstand that amount of pressure and to still be able to turn the ball over and concede nothing is really, really impressive. That's a big moment in the game, I think, for the Stormers from a confidence point of view, from a mental point of view. And kind of more like that, just, where they really sort of kind of drew a line and said they're not going to get past us here. Right, another substitution coming in here as Ben Healy takes to the field. Big St. Brian Yankees, DeVet hasn't been impressive. Yeah, I'm always a bit sketchy about Paul DeVet. So, yeah, I think that I also would bring on Herschel Yankees, especially the way he's been playing this season. Been really, really good form. Very impressive. He's finally seemed to sort of turn a bit of a corner. Speak of the devil, he's on. Ask and you shall receive, apparently. The kick from Willemse is returned. The favour is returned. Back to Moy Liebach. He goes down the center of the park. Now Healy now supposed to involve into Sonata is tracking back as well. Gets himself into a good position. Now Willemse got the set 22. Does find touch. Not the worst clearance either. Just out of the halfway line. So good net result there from the Stormers. But something's gonna have to give you, isn't it? Good line there from Munster trying to set up the rolling more. Looks pretty well set as well. Marvin already in the middle there. I'd be surprised if he's allowed to stay there. Yeah, advantage against Evan Ruiz for changing his mind. Conor Murray now goes to fake a toe. Healy, great pass out. And now Daly and Haley next to each other. Daly decides trying to get around Sonata. That's a great covering tackle, but he has managed to put his arm over and he has scored. It's been coming, you must say. It has been coming. That's a great finish from Shane Daly. Still had so much to do. Sibera Sonata is absolutely rapid and does get there, but can't do anything in the end. And the Stormers now, I think, paying the price for that earlier section where they had opportunities to score and just couldn't convert. All of a sudden, find themselves behind with 20 minutes to go. Yeah, just puts the hammer down. It's almost a great covering tackle from Sonatla. And if he was like half a yard close to the touchline, I think he would have completed it. But it's a great finish. Just puts his arm out as he's going down. Right, kick to count, 22 minutes to go. Stormers behind. It's a really good looking kick from Ben Healy. That's a great kick. And they will restore the 7-point advantage there. Some Hobbs will fix your cold. I hope to get on them very soon. I'm going to take another night or two off, and then hopefully in the week can get back to having some. I'm hoping to try and have a beer after my football on Tuesday. That is the plan. That is the hope. I'll be saying Luxembourg really poor defense. They're becoming a liability. Yeah, they can't get the Netherlands us back fast enough as far as I'm concerned. Right, 19 points to 12 with 20 minutes left to play. Oh, knock on, they're coming. Or charge down. Turnover ball, movement ahead. Really good work from Moy Liebach who's run onto that. And a penalty going to Peter O'Mahony's way. GD says, SA teams suck against Irish teams, lost most of their URC games this season. Yeah, apart from the win Bulls win and beat Leinster in Dublin. Yeah, look, it's not been a particularly good Stormers performance, must admit, and I think that Munster have been very good tonight. But this is a good test there for the Stormers. They want to try and become second. Ulster have just overtaken them. And there's certainly going to be some SA versus Ireland clashes coming up. We won't talk about the fact that Munster were knocked out by Sharks in the Champions Cup, but you did say the URC, so fair enough. So they're going to go for the points here, Munster, from the penalty. It was a fantastic kick by Healy earlier, so why not? He's got 10 seconds to go here on the shot clock here, Seeley. So he's going to be a bit rushed here. I don't know if the shot spot's obviously wrong here. Well, he slipped, so it's not going to go. Oh, it's going to go over. It's going to go underneath it. But yeah, the shot clock was up. The biggest issue is obviously that shot clock is called by the broadcaster, so never sure if that's completely accurate. If it was, he was well over the shot clock, and it slipped when he took it though. So in the end, actually didn't really matter. But it is a bit concerning that what's the point of having the shot clock up there if you're not going to buy to it? And it's not the first time it's happened this season either. Well defended from the more here, the Stormers, not going anywhere for Munster. Conor Murray does use it. Goes to Pekitoa, good tackle from Murray Liebach. Slow ball here for Conor Murray now. He goes to Barron, who's scored a brace so far. 2 out of the 3 matches. Oh, a bit of a snipe from Conor Murray. Almost straight through. Eventually brought down by Evan Lewis. Ben Healy coming to join the line. Mike Haley getting involved. Conor Murray now. Good hands. Healy ball over the top. And it's been fumbled by Murray Liebach, who's also worked out very nicely for him. And now he's hammered this downfield. A lot of Stormers players chasing. It's Hershey Yankees right now. Hachiba Daimani and Murray Liebach. And he wants to go himself, but the legs have been taken out. Now big pressure being applied from Hachiba Daimani on Daly. He needs to try and roll away because the big, that's a lot of Munster players who have suddenly jumped into that. Very well retained in the end. And Conor Murray looking for that clearance. Not a great clearance. It does allow Stormers back into a good position for a set piece. Right, so an opportunity here. I think JJ Cox has come onto the park as Joseph Weber has given way. Marcel Tennyson on as well. They got a Marvin Ori. Good take, yeah. Now Dandu Bassi. Getting into the 22, Hershey Yankees. See where that's not, that's following a bit of space. Making a few yards. RK Stamer making the tackle. Hershey Yankees goes to Marcel Tennyson, his first carry of the day. They're into the 22 here, the Stormers. Hershey Yankees not going. Stephen Kitsoff still on the park, doing a good shift in there as the captain. Marcel Tennyson, I think is on for Billy Engelbrecht, I'd imagine, given the fact that Chalamani is still on. Oh, good hands. Good head hands from Ruin now. Now Daimani coming back inside, getting away from one. Eventually brought down. Does place it well as well. Hershey Yankees quick ball going to Ruben van Heerden, who's been pretty relentless with that work rate. Tennyson's a little bit isolated, but Hershey Yankees as well to identify a threat. Now, Evan Lewis pick up and go. And a penalty for the Stormers. Right, decision time. They're 7 points behind with 60 minutes to play. It's very kickable. So they could very easily take the 3 points here, get themselves within within 4 points, which is an unconverted try. Or they could be brave and go to the corner, but it hasn't really worked out for them so far. With being brave and trying to go for the try. So yeah, big decision to make here for the Stormers. Yeah, so Archie Snyman is leaving the park. I think it's an HRA. Given the fact he's been accompanied by a medic, so hopefully nothing too serious there. He's played really well, those Archie Snyman. I think quite a lot of Bok coaches will be very happily watching on with that performance of his. So Jean Klein's back on the park. Keith Earls was on, by the way. Quite a lot of tension in the game. The Stormers players sort of surrounding Barrett and having to be told to give him a bit of space. So quite a lot of bite in the game, which is good to see. Obviously adds to the spectacle. But at the moment, Munster very comfortable. Stormers not so much. John saying tough break in the lines. Leinster game, Steve. Appreciate all the effort and emotion that goes into the coverage. Leinster fan. Yeah, listen, I don't want to talk about it, but I appreciate it. It was so disappointing. It was so bad. Just so bad. I don't mind losing to better teams, but it's just you can't throw a game away like that. That's just dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Vic saying ever since Dion got injured, the Stormers haven't been the same. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think we're now realizing how important he is to the Stormers' effort. A vital part of the whole game plan. So good running around those rucks. Gets up on the park so well. And Moneyball gets Hamilton to the corner. And they'll have a 5-meter line out right. Stormers need to score a converted try to get themselves level and then try and find some more points. They've got 15 minutes. Plenty of time still to play. It's been a long day. We were live from 1 o'clock this afternoon with the Bulls game. Good line there from JJ Kotze. Evan Ruiz going up and receiving it. Now, pretty good looking Ronnie Moore as well. The question is, where is the ball? Who's got it? They're over the line, but who's got the ball? And the try. Yankees have just hugged the referee. That's the moment of the day so far. The Stormers are over. Hershey Yankees appreciating their decision. Stephen Kitsop, the man that comes away with the ball. Spicy Plum, the captain, and that could very well be his last contribution. I mean, 66 minutes is a long time for a prop to play. Not that he looks particularly tired. But Hershey Yankees hugging the referee is probably my favorite moment of the day. And there it is. Then there's ball on contact, and that's pointed out by Hershey Yankees. Right, big kick this for Miney, but if he misses this, then Munster will remain ahead. So this is to put Stormers level. Miney got with 10 seconds left playing on the shot clock. Pretty straightforward effort, really. Shouldn't be missing this at all. And that looks like it could be going towards the right. It does curl in, but too late. That's another poor kick from Moy Liebach. Stormers should probably be about 3 points ahead, to be honest, with the missed kick. So that's very frustrating that they trail by 2. And Moy Liebach, who's usually a very reliable kicker, one of the leading, I think he's currently the leading point scorer in the competition, was last season as well. Really needs to be doing better there. Can't be missing those. Good take that from Ruan now. A bit of pressure there from Keith Earls onto the park. And now 12 minutes. Stormers need to try and find some more points. Just the penalty will do it. Hershey Yankees needs to find a good clearance. Right against touchline. Doesn't find touch. And Healy's been pretty good since coming on. Conor Murray. Good hands. And Sabella coming up and he misses the tackle. Keith Earls will be a bit of an overlap here. David Williams has to make the tackle on Haley. Does so well. Big hit coming. That's an Ernst van Rijn. Oh, almost the interception from Herschel Yankees. It'll be a knock-on. I think it's a genuine attempt. They're asking for a deliberate knockdown. I think it was a genuine attempt. Tell you what, if he had taken that, it would have been absolutely sublime. But yeah, it looks like Ernst van Rijn's onto the park as well. Scott Buckley on for Munster. No Craig Casey just yet. And no Aston for Mark. And look at this, yeah. Oh, yeah, if he takes that, he's away. Not sure it's that likely he was going to take it. So I think Scrum could be a bit generous here. I think it was a pretty long shot of him actually holding on to that. But fair enough. Scrum is the call. Munster won't mind, actually. It'll run out a bit of time. They will have the feed, obviously, as well. Yeah, it's a massive scrum from the Stormers, but they do very well, this game to get it out there. Straightening there. Good carry there from Daly. Try scorer. But what a scrum that was from the Stormers. Healy gets away to Klein, who's back on the park. Conor Murray. Oh, a bit of a wraparound and the ball almost getting loose there. Long pass out wide, and still Oscar is coming. Keith Earls comes inside, gets away from two. Still going against Keith Earls. Getting away from a couple of others. Ernst van Rijn comes in, gets the offload away as well. Gavin Coombs goes more direct. Skips past the tackle of Evan Lewis and eventually brought down by netting for Shear. Now, big up and under there. Pressure on Moynihan underneath it. Takes it well. Bekatoa slams him to the ground though. He had the support around him though, so Stormers do maintain possession. Now Hershey Yankees going to go to the boot as we enter the final 10 minutes here. 3 tries apiece. Just a missed conversion separating the two sides from Moynihan, as well as a missed penalty. Ben Healy also with a missed penalty though. Speaking of the devil, here is Healy. Throws out an offload as well. It's really good offload. Damoni going to make a good tackle. Does make a good tackle. And penalty advantage, but not rolling away. Munster doing well to buy that. Now Healy just hammers us to the left-hand side. Dan du Plessis is getting across. It does get across there very well to make the mark, but it was penalty advantage. So they'll go back for the penalty. Ominous signs here for the Stormers. They're struggling to carve any opportunities here into the last 10 minutes. Munster over here will probably kick to the corner, run the clock down a little bit, and try and find that match-winning try. It was a very good tackle, and then Bekatoa doing very intelligent to just keep him in there, not be able to roll away. And a bit of a chat between the Munster players here. Here comes Alistair for mark for Stephen Kitsoff. What a shift that has been from the Stormers captain. Right, here comes Clayton Blomberkeys. Interested to see who he replaces. I think it's, Hartenberg does make way. Interested to see if Clayton Blomberkeys goes into the wing or if David Williams will take up that spot. Blomberkeys a natural 15. It's a good sack. There's a good sack though from, I think Craig Casey now on. That'll definitely speed things up a bit. Has found himself up in the Irish pecking order as Craig Casey after a very good season with Munster. Plays some nice rugby and they're almost through there to John Klein. They're just short. Pick up and go from Nash. It's just short. They're going to try to go over. Peter Marnie goes short as well. Still short, good defense there. And they're still short. Couple of good pick up and goes here. And Munster just looking to keep it tight. They're just going short every single time. Hoping that one of their carries will find a half gap. And they do. They do go over. They do go over. And that's right underneath the poles as well. So that'll be a 7-pointer. That could be it for the Stormers. They've got a bonus point here, have Munster. And that's pretty important because that'll take them up to 53 points if they do win this game. Puts them within touching distance of Glasgow Warriors as they desperately fight for a home quarterfinal. This is very interesting because, yeah, if Glasgow Warriors were to lose next week and without a bonus point, and Munster were to win with a bonus point, they go ahead of Glasgow Warriors on points difference. So pretty important this win, yeah, for Munster. Home advantage being so important in this competition. And the Stormers, they're gonna rue the opportunities. They had the opportunities to score. A couple of silly moments in the first half, especially second half as well. They had plenty of opportunities to try and score the points. Munster defense has been very impressive. They've had to weather a storm at times, but they've been patient. They haven't panicked, and this has been a pretty good performance from the Irish team. And he's looking at the shot clock. He's going to take all the time as well before he pops it over. Right, a 9-point lead at the moment. This could be a little bit too far for the Stormers now. I think the game's gotten away from them. They go short here to the Stormers. And a penalty there as well for obstruction. So important now. Decision time. Decision time. They are 9 points behind. If they were to kick a penalty, they'd be within 6 points. So they are calling for the penalty. That's what I say. That's why I mentioned it. Finally, look at nailed the conversion, and this would be to put them within 4 points. And yeah, I got to say, he should have nailed the penalty as well. So to be honest, I personally think that this should have been to make things level. So it's put them 1 point behind if they had kicked well. So a big kick this for Marnie Liebach. This is just to get themselves within a converted try of winning. Then they will obviously receive the kickoff, and then they'll have about 3 minutes to try and get their way back up to Munster territory and find that final try. It's an 80% probability of getting the kick, so really should be slotting this. And he's hooked it. That is a dreadful kick. That is a dreadful kick. While Marley Liebach, who last season was bashing the door down for Springbok colours, is not doing his case any good tonight. And that was it. Nailed that. You would have had 3 minutes to try and score a try, but he's completely pulled that. Evan Ruiz, good carry from him, getting away from one, brought down by the halfway line. Stormers have got to score within the next 2 minutes, and we have time for a kickoff. So, bar a couple of very quick line breaks, not looking particularly good. Evan Ruiz, good defense there from Munster. Hershey Yankees. Liebach goes to Blommekies. Blommekies goes to Roy now on the wing. So it looks like Damien Williams has gone to the centres. And Ronald's got out to the wing. Yankee to Marvin Ori to Liebach, bit of a fumble almost there. Willemse pointing, Willemse going himself, looking for a couple of offloads, popping out to Ernst van Rijn. Good continuity there from the big lock. He gets over the halfway line. Good carry from him. Oh, that's a high tackle on Damien Willemse. Yep, it is. Yankee's going to Marvin Liebach. Liebach's hammering towards the left-hand side. I just don't think they've got the time here. They've got a couple of Munster players are going to go down with some tactical injuries, as they call them. Always a bit of cramp when you're trying to seal the game. Right, and I think it's Kevin Coombs who does the part. They're going for the penalty again, by the way. Gets them the losing bonus points. It gets them within 7, but more important, I think, as I said, they will have a kickoff. And this has opened the door. Ulster could potentially stay, well, they will stay ahead of Stormers at this rate. So Stormers have potentially thrown away a home semi-final with this loss. And he's took that again. It's dreadful. He's missed now 10 points off the tee, and that would have been the difference. Yeah, he's missed a lot of points out there. He's left 12, I think it's 11 points out there now. He's missed 3 penalties and a conversion. Yeah, it's 11 points he's missed out there, and that would have been the difference. So you never want to pin it on somebody, but Liebach has not done himself any justice today. He's kicked really poorly, and that's going to be the difference in the end. That comes Dave Willemse. Dave Willemse going himself, looking for the offload, gets it ready to Sabella Sinatla, who is brought down. Yankees goes to Dave Willemse. Always looking to attack. He's had another good game. One of the few shining lights in the Storm's performance, as well as the likes of Stephen Kitsoff, Marty Liebach, passing to big hit on JJ Kotzer. Big hit that on Evan Ruiz. Getting the offload away to Hershey Yankees. Hershey Yankees seeing a half gap, trying to find a pass. Does find Clayton Lomikis. Evan Ruiz, good hands there from to Liebach. David Willemse twisting away from the tackle. So that is it, by the way. Stormers can't win. The only thing they can do now is get themselves a losing bonus point, which is pretty important. Could be pretty important. At the moment, Ulster are 3 points ahead. A losing bonus point. They're 2 points ahead. So a losing bonus point. We'll put them 1 point ahead. Knock on there from Dan Lucy, as he says it's not coming from him. So it's a knock on advantage here for the Stormers. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, they get 2 points out if they're 1 point behind Ulster, which means a bonus point win for Ulster would keep them in second. But it does mean Stormers were to get a bonus point win next weekend against Benetton, and Ulster don't, they could still yet get that home semi-final, but they're going to have to find some points here. Tua Diamani, he's played well today. 9th phase here for the Stormers. Good handling there for Aston for Mark. It's just, they've got the overlap. Good hands there from Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis might go all the way here. He's looking for support. And the offload goes to Ronald. Well, there it is. That's a very important try. They'll lose the match. But in the context of the Rugby Championship, or United Rugby Championship, that is a very important try. That gets them within 7. It gets them 2 losing bonus points. It puts them 1 point behind Ulster. Ulster's points difference as well is better. So at the end of the day, if Ulster win next week, they'll finish second. But Stormers giving themselves a chance. And Ulster up against Edinburgh next weekend. So it's also interesting because obviously Ulster then can't afford to play a weekend side, neither can the Stormers. So fatigue could very well catch up there with both sides. And the good news for my Leibach is that this is actually harder to miss than it is to get. And a good game from Ronaldo, so probably deserved to try, to be fair to him. And he does add the extras, Molly Leibach, but not a good day in the office. The Stormers lose by 2 points. 3 penalties missed from Molly Leibach, as well as the conversion is going to be the big headline. But credit to Munster, who have had to put in a very big defensive effort to get this victory. People, thank you very much for a very long day of rugby coverage. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Good to have about 20 or 30 new people. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I'll see you guys all next time. Yeah, we've had 4 games so far this weekend. It's been a very busy weekend. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys all very soon.